Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Welcome to election night here at Sky News in partnership with The Guardian. I am Weebrew, and after a term of highs and lows for both Labour and the Conservative Party, and an election set to be the closest for a long time, tonight, WillShakespeare99 and Secretary Salami find out who will be entering number 10 Downing Street as the next Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. We'll be bringing you the results across the whole country as the two men attempt to pave their way to number 10 and into British political history. I'm here tonight with WillShakespeare99. How are you?
I'm alright, bear with me 1 second, I'm having some tech issues on my side.
It's a great start as
My
always.
computer is frozen.
Well, we'll be bringing us the spreadsheets, the swings, the percentages, and everything that you will need to know for in-depth analysis. Tonight, we're starting a little bit early for a little post, or pre-stream, I should say, pre-result stream, and we'll also be bringing you a opinion poll, exit poll from YouGov and The Guardian. Will, are you with us?
Just about. Come back to me in a minute.
Well, as I said, we will be bringing a...
Lucky start.
Yeah, well...
Okay, I believe I am with us now.
Well, good to have you on. We'll be here, the three of us, Viljo, Will, and I will be bringing you the results at about 7 o'clock. So yeah, basically, we're going to have this pre-stream. We'll have some guests on in the meantime, and we'll get on with it. So, Will, how are you doing? Everything good? Take that as a
I'm
no.
alright. Apart from continued tech problems on my end, I'm fine.
It's like, you prep all this stuff, and it's fine, and there's like hours of spare
Until we
time.
go on to the...
And then as soon as you start, it's like everything collapses.
Would you like me to do my bit of the introduction now that I've got...
Give it a go.
Okay, I've got my spreadsheets and notes ready to go to bring you the deepest, fullest, and most comprehensive analysis and coverage of the results that I can. Tonight, for the first time in a general election for several years, we will be bringing you the swing in every seat, which will tell you how far a seat has gone from one party to another, as well as all of the statistics, facts, and analysis you need to understand why these results have happened, what they mean for the parties, and what they mean for the country for the next 6 months.
Yeah, that is beautiful. So yes, we will be bringing you the exit poll in a couple of minutes. In fact, we could probably bring you the exit poll now. This is an exit poll that has been compiled by The Guardian and YouGov. So shout out to everyone at YouGov and the people who worked on the exit poll. So yeah, I think we should just jump right into it. How amazing, I almost swore, how amazing was that introduction? Shout out to the Chatty Show, who, oh my goodness, what a crazy, amazing intro, and what a great start to the results. Okay, let's bring you the exit poll. Hopefully. Assuming the tech issues work. Oh, the Sky News music's playing. Okay, here is your exit poll.
A bit of a bumpy start.
We got there. Right, exit poll. Conservatives are being polled at 28 seats. Yosmars with the majority, or the largest at 28. Labour at 21, so that's 7 behind the Tories. Secretary Salami looking for gains there. LP UK at 17, which I believe is also a gain from last term. The Classical Liberals at 15, which I'm sure Twisted Nook and the rest will be delighted about. Liberal Democrats at 8. There's the lovely penguins in the background there from the departing leader. And the SDP at 7, which is amazing for a party that's just joining us for the first time. Here is your exit poll. Conservatives leading by 7. Yeah, big exit poll, and here is the coalitions in no particular order. And if I do this... Oh, there we go. There's your coalition. So the government, as it says here, is completely uncertain. There are a multitude of ways that could form a government, particularly talk after the leak of a Sunrise Plus government. So, Will, what do you make of this exit poll?
Well, if this exit poll is right, I think the most likely outcome of this election is that Secretary Salami will be the first Labour Prime Minister for over 2 years. The Conservative path back to power looks extremely difficult. We know in the past that the classical Liberals have refused to work with the Libertarians in government, and the Conservatives and Libertarians alone don't make a majority. Whereas we know that Labour, the Liberal Democrats, the classical Liberals and the SDP have been working very closely together. And I think it's almost, if these results are right, And if it can pass votes in all the parties, it's almost certain the next government will be Sunrise Plus.
Wow. Yeah, as you said, first time in 2 years.
3 years.
Assuming
I've been correct.
three.
3
Wow,
years. Labour Prime
2016.
Minister. Yeah.
That's crazy. Very, very, very interesting election to come, I'm sure. If these exit polls paint any kind of picture, it's that there is time for change. One of the things that we're looking at here that will be a story that I believe will continue to come throughout the night is the rise of these new parties that have never stood in a general election before. Guys like the SDP, guys like the People's Movement, who have been around in some capacity for a while now, and guys like the Democratic Reformist Front, the English Regionalists, and the independent members. So how big of a factor do you think that they play in these results, or this exit poll, I should say?
What they do, I think, is that they make the elections in many seats much more unknown quantities because their parties never stood before. We don't know what sort of support they have, other than the scant evidence that opinion polls give us. So it makes it all much more difficult to try and predict, to be able to see what might happen, because you've got these parties who started up not that long ago, who now look like they're going to make quite an impact, especially in the case of the SDP. So it really makes this whole election a bit more exciting, because it creates that news story, as you say, of how are these brand new parties going to do and what effect are they going to have in seats where they've never stood before, which are otherwise very safely for one party or another. What effect are they going to have there?
Well, we can go straight to the top to find that out. Joining us today for our first guest of this evening is the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Conservative candidate for Northern Ireland, and leader of the Conservative Party, Eels Madge. How are you doing, Eels?
I'm feeling okay. How are you doing then, Weber?
I'm very good. Thank you very much for coming on. It's great to have you on. You've just
My
seen the
pleasure.
exit poll. It is losses at the end of the day. A majority from the Conservative and LP UK down to 45 at these exit polls. What's your initial reaction to this exit poll?
Well, of course it is early days, isn't it? And exit polls have always been wrong in the past. I don't think we can always trust the exit polls that we see. If these results are correct, big if, this means that the Conservative Party is once again the largest party in the United Kingdom, and it means that there are several paths that you showed on your programme for a Conservative government. Now, be that Conservative, classical Liberal Democrat, for example, which you said would have a majority, be it this same government returned again, I think that there is scope for a further Conservative government in the United Kingdom. And I think that we should be very proud of ourselves that if these election predictions, if this exit poll is correct, then we are once again the largest party in the United Kingdom and have been for several years now.
Yes, Conservatives remain as the largest party. What do you think that means, and what message do you take from the electorate that the Conservatives are still the largest party in the United Kingdom? Eos, you with us?
Yes, I think this shows that despite all the rhetoric of time for change, etc., then what we really wanted as a nation is to carry on with moderate, principled government, of government that is looking out for policies over ideology, of practical government, and not for this leftist coalition of chaos that we think is forming just in order to boot the Conservative out more than anything. I think the people are seeing through this and they're rejecting it.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough. This term hasn't gone without any kind of controversy, particularly the so-called Greg Fest series of bills, which sparked massive uproar, and including marches on the street, which, as if anyone can remember, led to the windows getting broken in government buildings and all sorts. Do you think that the Greg Fest series of bills has played a factor in these exit polls, even though it's early days still?
Well, I'm sure that everything our government has done plays an effect in the polling. I think that people will realise when they start to see the reforms that Gregfest, or as you're calling it, Gregfest has done, then they'll start to realise what a positive result that these bills have taken us back from the days of the radical socialists back into moderate policy, the kind of stuff that David Cameron would have proposed back in the day, taking this country to a future where people and look out for themselves and have the opportunity to do as they wish, rather than just, you know, take the homeless bill, for example. People are saying that we're shoving homeless people onto the street. This isn't true. What this bill does is actually help house these homeless people. And I think as soon as people see that, and I think that people have seen that by voting for us, then they'll want to see Conservative government in the future.
That's very fair enough. Well, would you like to add something? Or are you just getting a wee cough out?
No, I was just having a little cough.
Yeah, you mentioned the word opportunity. Of course, your Chancellor, Tosin Russian, brought the opportunity budget forward, which was the brand that you guys put on that, which passed. So do you think that the fact that you got a budget through will play highly into the voters' minds when, well, they've already casted their vote now, but do you think that the budget will have affected their vote? You know, this is a kind of idea of like strong economic policy.
I'm almost certain that our long-term economic plan and our opportunity budget has played a factor in people's minds. Must remember, at the time we passed the budget, we only had a majority of 0 in Parliament. We passed it with a majority of 8. Now, we can only do that through the opposition's inefficiency, their failure to turn out to vote, and uh, also a feeling amongst other parties, New Britain, Plaid Cymru, that our vision for the future, opportunities to bring to this country to the future, was the right way to run the country.
Well, if you're just joining us, we're about 10 or 12 or so minutes out from the results. I am Weebrew, I'm joined by Will and the guest for this moment, Prime Minister, Eos Maj. If you are just joining us, as I said, there is the exit polls on your screen now, with the Conservatives still the largest party, with a lead of 7 at 28 seats. Eos, how do you think the LPUK fared as partners this term?
I think the LPUK were very reliable partners in government. I think that they're very stable. When we worked together, both parties had input into the bills. They would listen to our suggestions, try and improve on them. We would listen to their suggestions and try and improve on them. And I think it made the governing coalition better that we had such a good working relationship between the parties.
Do you think, because we've seen obviously the Conservatives dropping in the polls, do you think any Conservative voters have gone over to the LPUK if this exit poll is right and the LPUK are now up from 14 to 17? Do you think some of the more right-wing voters of the Conservative Party looked at the LPUK and thought for the first time that actually this is a party with a radical vision that can actually get things done after a successful term of government, and that's hurt you?
Oh, I don't think that anyone would think the Conservatives can't get things done. We've passed over 20 bills this term. And again, if this exit poll is right, this is, think of 1992. Exit polls have been often wrong in the past. But if this exit poll is right, then it shows that possibly some support has gone from the Conservatives to the LPUK. But far more has stayed with the Conservatives, making us once again the largest party and a party in government.
All right. Well, you've stuck with us for we'll keep you no longer, Eos. Thank you very much for coming on, and I
Thank you,
hope
Prime
that
Minister.
the results go the way that you intend. That's me being typical, sitting on the fence centrist there. Thanks, Eos. Okay. Well, what did you think of that, Will?
Very interesting. I mean, obviously, it's much as you'd expect from a party leader at this stage of the night, trying to deflect a difficult exit poll, trying to talk up the party, trying to bring the spirits up ahead of what might be a difficult night. But obviously, he makes the point that the Conservatives, even under this exit poll, remain the largest party. And I think that's a line we're going to hear a lot over the next few hours from Conservative figures.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. We're 10 minutes out, 9 minutes now, according to my clock, from the start of the results. I believe our first result will be about 2 minutes past, so we've got a lot of time to kill here. So, Will, let's just talk about the term overall. If you're free, of course. I know you've been chomping away, exposing the business.
I've finished now. It's all right.
So, look, you're an ex-Labour leader.
Yes.
It must be, you must be happy that the party that you once led is now, it could be walking into number 10.
And it's always good to see a change in direction, a changing government, especially after the Conservatives. There was a break with obviously the Liberal Democrats and the classical Liberals, but this will be the first time that a left-wing prime minister for 2 years. The last time being, I believe, it was under the Greens.
Yeah. Um, there has been, like, when we did the devolved elections, one of the things that we talked about quite often was how could the left come back? How could the
Yeah,
left regain themselves? How could they,
and they've
and
done it
exactly. They've done it
in the
under
last.
some sort of a united front, right?
Yeah. Well, you say the left. I'm gonna pick you up there. Obviously, I imagine you've read my analysis earlier in the week of the election, in which I said there were now three main ideological blocks in Britain. There's ideological and strategic blocks. There's the left, which is parties like the Greens, the People's Movement, the DRF, the Democratic Reformist Front, to a lesser extent. I mean, they're a single issue party, but strategically they've worked heavily with the rest of the left. And then you've got the centre, which is a sort of it's a strategic alliance rather than an ideological one again, which has Labour on its left flank. You've got the Liberal Democrats, you've got the Clibs, and you've got the Social Democrats. And you've also obviously you've got the traditional right, which is the Tories in the upper UK. And I think that was the big change in this election, that there is now those three blocks. It's not left versus right anymore. The Liberal Democrats and the Clibs always felt slightly uncomfortable on the very centre edge of the two ideological blocks. And now we've got a proper centre block for the first time that includes Labour and the SDP, that's actually organised and well consolidated.
Well, one of the things that we will be having up and running during the results is a website that will have various interactive aspects of it. They're still working on that, I believe, but stay tuned in the announcements area for that. You'll be able to do things such as coalition makers, and you'll see the live results as they come and many other aspects of that. So keep an eye out for that. Big shout out to Lisa and everyone. I believe Viljo helped on that as well. Yeah, massive shout out to them. It looks amazing. They're just finishing up there. Bug ticks and all, bug fixes, not ticks, and all that. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. It's already a thing? Oh well, there you go. There you go. Sorted. That's our shout out. And shout out to Adam from New Britain. We love you big time.
And before we go into the results, can I just give a shout out to the amazing Guardian team that has helped us put tonight together, ready to get those results in. Zygark, Chatty Show, who created that incredible opener, Twisted Nuke, Viljo, of course, Geordie. Have I missed anyone?
Probably.
Well, thank you to the entire Guardian team who have made tonight.
And of course, thank you to the election counters in the constituency areas counting away. Still, we will have our first result in about 8 minutes, and that will be Upper Severn. Sorry.
Can I talk briefly before we get our first results in about swing? We've brought swing back to British elections. It's been absent for a while, but we've brought it back tonight. Swing measures the change between two parties. It works even when it's a seat with three parties at play. It measures the change between the top two parties. Tonight we've got a new measurement known as adjusted swing. So each seat has a swing required for the party that came second last time to take it from the party that came first last time. Adjusted swing is the swing. The adjusted swing is the swing required for the new second party once we've got the results in, and it will appear on the results page when the results are in, for the new second party to have taken that seat. So, and then there's the actual swing, which is the actual swing. But the adjusted swing is the swing required for the new second party rather than the second party from last time to take the seat.
All the swings. Lots of swings.
Lots
and
of swings.
Shout out to you for working those out.
Thank you. It's not too difficult. It was coming up with adjusted swing was a bit more of a difficult one to explain swings for seats where parties stepped down or were no longer in the top two.
The king of swing, WillShakespeare99. Okay.
There's a new nickname.
There's a new nickname, as if you didn't need any more. The John Curtis of the British political system, now the king of swing. So yes, as I said, the first result will be in a few minutes. Let's talk issues again. So, what we saw at the devolved elections last time you were here, if you missed the leadership elections, the STP deputy leadership election and the Liberal Democrat leadership election, the last election we did was the devolved ones. What we saw was that rise of the Liberals. And you talked about it earlier when I talked about the resurgence of the left, that it's less ideological than it is strategic.
The reason I termed them the centre block, by the way, is just because they're in the middle between the left and the right.
Yeah, so they could go either way.
Yeah.
What?
They're working with the centre.
Yeah, exactly.
Labour isn't maybe comfortable ideologically in that centre block, but they're working with three centrist parties, and they are almost entirely divorced from the rest of the left now.
Judging by the people, or the exit poll, who do you think is the most powerful politician if this exit poll is correct, going into coalition negotiations?
Well, it would be Twisted Nuke, because we've seen, the Sunrise Plus needs the Clibs in order to get a majority, as do the LP UK and the Conservative Party. If they want a majority, they're not going to. If the exit poll is right, they're not going to get a majority on those numbers. So they might need the classical Liberals. So I think Twisted Nuke comes out tonight, if the exit poll is right, an extremely powerful man.
And we of course had the leak that even before the results have came out, they're talking with other parties, this so-called Sunrise Plus coalition, which would be the classical Liberals, the Liberal Democrat Party, the STP and Labour. What do you make of that? Again, as an ex-Labour leader, this has to be something that you would be rubbing your hands at.
Well, yeah, I mean, if it gets a majority Labour government, then, or a Labour...
No, you can't say that. You're a member of the Monster Raving Linny Party now. Haven't got a huge amount to add on top of that. I can't remember what the question was. Just this prospect of a Sunrise Plus government. What do you think the issues? What do you think? If we talk about the cliche politician kind of buzzword, what do you think as a kind of centre left centre government, if that was to form? What do you think the big issues will be for a coalition like that?
Well, I think you've got Labour's manifesto, which is going to be somewhat problematic, because a lot of it was very much on the left. And you saw the classical Liberals and the SDP, when that came out, were less than happy with it. They said there would have to be a compromise on the part of Labour. So that's going to be a problem. There's definitely an ideological gulf there, which is slightly smaller than it otherwise would be, because the classical Liberals have moved to the centre this election. That manifesto, they refer to themselves as right in the manifesto, but I think that's actually an unfair characterisation of their own position, which is that's not a particularly right-wing manifesto. It's a liberal manifesto, but it's firmly in the centre.
If you missed the analysis that Will Shakespeare did of the manifestos, you can check those out on the Guardian website and in press announcements.
Please do. I haven't slept for a week.
And thank you to the over 80 of you now who 80 million, because we're the Sky News.
Of course. Thanks to viewers outside of the UK.
Yeah. And the babies and such who turned out high numbers.
Thank you. Hello to all the children watching.
I'm just checking. Viljo, are you back with us?
We're having some technical issues on the website side at the moment.
Alright, so we will hold off on the results for another minute. That's as long as you've got, Viljo. Hopefully the website is up and running again. Again, I highly encourage you to check it out. mhawk.co.uk/public is the website. I feel like we should just get started, to be honest, Will. People are harassing me.
First result due to be declared.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye out for the results. I'll need to mess around and hopefully I don't break anything or leak anything. That would be very bad. So,
What do you mean leak anything? We don't have results. They haven't been announced yet.
Good save, good save.
Unless you've got a mole in the Electoral Commission that knows the
I cannot confirm nor deny. So yeah, as I said, the first result would be Upper Severn. Okay, right, hold on, give me a sec. I've got a lot of brain power to do this. Hey, it worked. Okay. So declaration is imminent. Now, looking at these, this is the format that these are going to be. Required swing, 1.2% from Labour to the LP UK. So talk us through that one more time, just so everyone's crystal clear.
That's the swing that Labour would need in order to take that seat from the LP UK.
However, there are going to be some seats where, for example, Labour might not stand, so this is just talking compared to the past election. Okay.
And seats where one of the top two parties won't be in the top two this time, and that's when the adjusted swing comes in.
Here is our first result. Upper Severn, Conservatives gain from the Labour Party. Sophisticated Murder with 192,914 votes. LP UK, A Cool Prussian on 178,850 votes. And in third place, Labour, What is a Carrot Anyway, with 170,366 votes, with the SDP and the English Regionalists going fourth and fifth. So this is the adjusted swing on the middle right of your screen. So looking at the top two parties or three parties, the holding party, and then the party that was after that, you have the swing, and then you have the actual swing, 12.6 from Labour to Conservatives.
So the Conservatives weren't second here, but they're now first, and they needed 10.9% swing to take this, and they exceeded that. They get 12.6. So a good victory. A bad first result for Labour, who fall from first in this constituency down to third. A mediocre turnout. A small majority for the Tories as well.
Yeah, and looking at the percentages, well, if you've got them. Put you on the spot there.
You want the percentages? Yes, I'll get you the percentages.
but still some time. Yeah, so a majority of 14,064. Yes, well.
The Conservatives won 29.9% of the vote here. The LP UK got 27.7%. Labour on 26.4%. The SDP, this is their first ever general election result, 10.3%, an extremely good start for a brand new party, and 5.6% for the English regionalists, which is more than might have been expected, but still,
yes, I don't
think they're going to be making much of a splash tonight.
So yeah, Conservatives there gaining over Labour. Oh my god, it took us 2 minutes to do that result. All right.
Is the next one coming in?
Yeah, coming in thick and fast. The next one will be from Northamptonshire and Rutland. The required swing being 18.3 from the Conservatives to Labour. Let's bring you that straight away.
The seat of the former Prime Minister Leafy Emerald, so a safe Tory seat.
Spoilers, the Conservatives hold in Northamptonshire and Rutland. Leafy Emerald getting 232,234 votes, and Nook Moss 164,219. So that's a 4.9 swing from Conservatives to Labour, a majority of 68,000 votes.
Labour needed an 18.3% swing to take this. They were no win. Worth noting, actually, Nook Mouse was Leafy Emerald's deputy prime minister back during the Grand Coalition, and now they're up against each other.
Oh yeah.
The Labour did make a bit of headway here. They're up by 9.7%. Tories are down slightly, the same amount because it's only a two-party seat. But there's no risk of Leafy Emerald losing his seat anytime soon.
Let's bring in our first guest. Of the results, it is as quoted from the former Prime Minister, Wagbo, the finest legal mind in British politics. The classical Liberal deputy leader. Don't interrupt me! The classical Liberal deputy leader and former Justice Secretary Vitiating, otherwise known as Lord Grantham. How are you, Vitiate?
I'm very well, thank you very much. How are you?
Does your ego feel sufficiently massaged?
Oh dear. Yes, certainly.
Well, we will come back to you in a second because it is 6 minutes past. Our next result comes from West London. The required swing being 8.2% from the Conservatives to the Liberal Democrats if they want to take the seat. Again, we don't know who the top two are yet, so just chill. Let's see that result now. The Conservatives have held in West London Carib of the Dead with 232,018 votes, Petros with 203,526 votes, and the Democratic Reformist Front, Zany Draco, the leader there, I believe, 138,844 votes. So good showing from the Democratic Reformist, Will.
Extremely good. They may come in third here, but considering they're a brand new party, that's an extremely good first result. Worth noting that Carib of the Dead, I believe, was expelled from the Conservative Party at the start of the campaign. He was accused of being
Anti-Semitic. Yes.
So the Conservatives now have a free seat to fill.
So far, so good for the Tories. Are you worried that you're not going to be entering number 10, Vishy?
Well, it's early days yet, isn't it? It's far too early to be making such assumptions. There's plenty of results to come. I fully believe that the classical Liberals could be entering could be entering government.
Oh, yeah, of course, Labour would be entering number 10.
Yes, I was having some mystical dreamland presented number 10.
It is worth noting that to say that the good results of the Conservatives so far, they have had a swing against them in all. They may have held all three of these seats, but they've all had a swing against the Conservatives in their home territory.
And whilst you know, oh wait, I'll keep quiet while there's a result.
Oh no, it's just declaration imminent. Don't worry, continue. We're actually not time restricted this time.
Whilst the Conservatives have gained a seat from Labour, it is predicted that they are going to lose seats in turn. So I think it's far too early to say whether it's a good night or a bad night for the Conservatives.
I
believe we're now getting the result from Sussex.
We are indeed. The result in Sussex is the LPUK are holding their seat. Captain Rabbit 2041 with 416,461 votes. Party Hat from the People's Movement coming in second over Labour, 125,310 votes. And Ipona Korka, I can always botch that name, 124,784. So a 0.8 swing.
People's Movement.
Hey, welcome, Viljo. How are you doing?
Oh, hello.
The web team have let me out of their cave. They're working as hard as they can to get our website up to date as results are announced, and you should see results coming in soon.
Lovely.
Well, at least the Guardian is on time this year. You know,
we were actually early.
Yes, indeed.
Instead of the 6:30.
Well, I had to down his dinner just to get on time because I wasn't having any of it. As again, the website I believe is mhawk.co.uk/public. So yeah, LPUK hold a massive majority, 291,000 majority. No surprises there.
People's Movement came nowhere close to taking it. They needed a 21.1% swing. They actually had a slight swing against them despite being a new party. Just imagine the confusion.
It certainly looks a difficult result for the left wing in Sussex. Two left wing candidates splitting the vote here.
And it's a notoriously from the past. It's a notoriously the People's Movement getting such a swing is, well, in my opinion, very unlikely.
Worth noting, the LPUK majority here has increased dramatically. 24% they went up by. Percentage points they went up by. Lib Dems didn't stand here. Labour Labour, this is the first time Labour stood here. Well, not the first time, but they didn't stand here last election.
Yes.
But the Libertarians, the headline number there is that they went up by 20%. So they increased their majority, and it's now a safe seat.
Yeah, definitely a safe seat. As it says here, required swing 21.1% from LPUK to the People's Movement. So, good luck. Our next result will be coming in a minute or so in North London.
Safe Labour seat.
Safe Labour seat.
I would expect it stays the same, but we'll wait and see.
Yeah, we'll wait and see for that. Required swing 17.9% from Labour to the Conservative Party.
It could be a night of surprises.
Well, we'll wait and see. These are relatively safe seats so far. But we can bring you North London now. Surprise, surprise, Labour holds in North London, AV 200 with 218,444 votes.
Well,
I have
That's a very
17
healthy majority.
STDs.
okay, all right.
You don't need to boast, people. You don't need to
You
boast.
don't have to boast like that. It's very inappropriate.
God damn.
Worth noting here, the opposite of Sussex for the incumbent party. Labour's majority splashed here. They're now at 46% of the vote, down 14.5% on the last election, which is they're now below half the vote.
Yeah, Classical Liberals with 99,477 votes. Conservatives, Urban Redneck, that's another one, 007 with 92,034 votes. And again, a relatively decent showing for the Democratic Reformist Front. Srajar, 4084, 65424.
See,
Big swing to the Clibs.
I'm silently hoping RF doesn't do any better.
Well, that's the second fairly good London result. Most of their candidates were stood in London, so I think their strategy is to go for the list seats in London, and we'll see if they manage to clobber enough votes between themselves in order to get that. But certainly that strategy puts them in a good position.
Lovely jubbly. Viljo, do you want to sort out another guest, or at least start talking to another guest whilst we talk about...
Indeed.
Well, I don't need to kick anyone out yet, but just kind of get talking to people. Our next result will be in about a minute's time in Derbyshire. The required the required swing 30.1% from Clib to Green.
Whew.
So that will be an interesting seat. We will see that.
Especially given the Greens' collapse, I would be. I mean,
Who knows?
they didn't even run here, so it'll be from a different party in the end. We'll see who manages to come second.
Sorry, I believe this is Manchester City and South. My mistake.
Yeah.
Not
Oh.
Derbyshire. Manchester City and South. That's my misreading. What you shaking? Oh, okay, let's get it. Manchester City and South. The Clibs hold.
Oh.
BHJR 132 with 383,004 votes. The Tories confident 103,000. Didn't want to call myself a titwill. It's hard. 103,769 votes. And the People's Movement, David Swifty, with 89,196. Apologies, that is Manchester City and South at 15.8% swing from Clibs to Conservatives.
The Tories, sorry, just before the Tories needed an even bigger swing here than the Greens did, not having stood here last time, and they came nowhere close.
And I think the swing from our party to the Conservatives is nothing really to be concerned about, because last election we were endorsed by virtually every party. So I'm not particularly concerned about the swing here.
Yeah.
66.5% for the Classical Liberals, down 13.5%, but as Vijay said, last time it was an exceptional circumstance here, just the two parties, and the Greens didn't really score very highly.
Yep, our next result in about a minute's time will be Derbyshire. See, I read ahead on the script, but it's not a script because we wait till we get the elections as we see them. So,
what happened is they had to do some last minute counting.
There was a brief recount.
Exactly, a brief recount.
Very brief.
They forgot to slip a vote slip
one vote
underneath the chair.
Yes. We've been informed that after Derbyshire, we're expecting an imminent declarations from the Black Country and from Norfolk and Suffolk. And as we find out further results, we'll let you know what's about to be announced.
okay, let's bring you Derbyshire now. The Conservatives hold in Derbyshire former Prime Minister Dr. Caesar MD with 334,448 votes. The Labour candidate there, Banana Republic, 324,689 votes. So close. High turnout, 85.93.
Less than 10,000 votes.
Yeah, very close one, Will.
They were there, and they came very close to getting the required swing as well. They came very close. Percentages: 49.3% for Labour, 50.7%. Labour went up by 8.1%. The Tories also went up, but by less, by 3.7%, because the candidate that stood here last time didn't stand this time.
Right.
Good turnout. Big turnout. 85.93%.
Okay, before we start thinking about next guest, Vishy, you saw the exit poll. There's a possibility of a Sunrise Plus coalition. You saw the leak, probably, whoever may have done that. Before we see all the results, what's your message to the country that people who are skeptical about a Sunrise Plus government. If that's something that you're supportive of, you can tell us you're not.
I think there is some attitude that say a change of government is not always best. Well, I disagree. I think it gets to a point where if you have a continuous government, it gets rather things become stale. Country demands change, and I think that a change of government at this juncture would be beneficial. If you, as Will said earlier in the stream, it's been 3 years since the last what was it, left wing or Labour government,
Labour
Prime
government,
Minister?
I believe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
last
Yes.
Labour Prime Minister was 3 years ago.
Yes,
Left
yes.
was 2 years ago.
And I don't think that Labour is particularly particularly radical left. At the same time, there could be a potential conservative and Lib LPUK negotiate. We're not. We want to reach across party lines. We want to work with everyone, and we're not going to cut off a particular party. Just to because we like I said, we believe in reaching across party lines, getting a consensus in the House, and that's the most important thing here.
Well, our next result is in. It's in the Black Country, as Viljo said. Here it is. The LPUK hold in the Black Country chaotic brilliance with 339,549 votes. Jack Wilfred, 188,524 votes for the Social Democrat Party, and Plebit 8080 from the English Regionals, 14,737. So that's a 151,000 vote majority for the LPUK and a swing of 14.9% from LPUK to SDP.
The Lib Dems were second here last time, but they didn't stand. A really good result for the SDP. I can give you the percentages to hold that up. They won 34.7% of the vote.
Okay,
Impressive.
thanks for
And they're
joining
very
us, Vitiate. Good to
We're
have you
now
on.
joined by HK Norman from the Social Democratic Party, standing in southeast London. HK, what do you think of the result?
If he unmutes his mic. F's in the chat for HK. Our next result will be.
We're having some issues.
Just don't
You don't say.
mention the door. In about a
No,
minute.
we broke.
In about a minute's
Right,
time.
well, I said I'd kick the first person.
Don't you dare!
Do it.
HK, are you with us?
Yes, I'm with you now, sorry.
How's it going?
It's going fine. It's a good night for the Social Democrats in terms of how many votes we've got so far. I'm very happy.
Good to have you on as a Social Democrat. In fact, the first in the election stream. So, good job.
Yay!
Yeah, in about a minute's time, as I said, we'll bring you Norfolk and Suffolk. 3% requires swing from Labour to the Conservatives. HK, the SDP are a new force. In about 30 seconds or less, do you think that the SDP are ready for government?
I think so. I think we are, yeah, because what we have with the Social Democrats, it isn't an ideological bunch of people, but a bunch of people from across the political spectrum who have come together, united in the common belief that we need common sense policies and government, and that comes from social democracy, coming together to deliver progressive policies for the whole country.
Fair enough. Let's bring the result.
Very small swing required here for Labour to take the Tory.
Yeah, Norfolk and Suffolk Labour hold. PM Me Sprinkles 245,864. Comrade Lannister of the Conservatives 232,114. Anomaly of the Classical Liberals 204,508 votes, and the new Phoenix Committee leader, Wynard Sai, I think 55,600. Wynard, yes, 55,649. So it's a majority of just under 14,000.
The Tories needed a 3% swing to take this. They only got 0.6% from Labour to the Conservatives. Labour down actually 18.2% here, which is a big drop, but the Tories were down 17.1%, hence the very small swing.
Yeah.
The Clibs up to 27.7%, having not stood here last time.
The This Phoenix committee, a relatively strong start, don't you think?
I mean, considering they formed a few days before the election, they had one candidate. 7.5% here isn't bad, especially because the manifesto was quite vague. It didn't really list any policies, But 7.5%, it's an okay start. It's better than I would have expected.
Our next result in about a minute's time will be North and Central Wales. So, Viljo, you're a current member of the Labour Party. What did you make of that exit poll?
I think it's probably a good start for a Sunrise deal. I think that given the loss of the looking like it looks like the Tories have lost enough seats to make Sunrise a viable government for the next term. I think that for Labour members, it's a good time to be in government. Our party's feeling organised. We've got a strong leadership team, and we've got a lot of strong candidates with good, strong. I've said the word strong about 5 times. We've got a lot of candidates
Strong and
with,
stable.
exactly. I do believe that, contrary to the scaremongering from the Prime Minister, that Sunrise is a strong and stable coalition, and it's incredibly viable. We have had a deal leaked. I can't say whether or not that deal was any real because I'm not privy to what's going on to that detail. I know a little bit that's going on. I'm sure that we are having negotiations with the Sunrise parties, but we'll see what happens after the elections.
Just to add to that, speaking as a Social Democrat, and the Social Democrats are party to these negotiations, I think what makes a possible Sunrise Plus government so strong is the fact that we are willing to put aside any differences we may have had with the different parties, with the end goal of delivering a government that's actually going to improve people's lives rather than hinder them, as we've seen under the Conservatives and the Libertarian Party.
Okay, we have our next result, which is North and Central Wales. The Plaid Cymru has gained from the Welsh Liberal Alliance in North and Central Wales competitive cable with 138,973 votes. Conservatives in second, PGR 10th, 129,016 votes. And the Welsh Liberal Alliance down in third, former leader there, El Raimondo, 107,920 votes, with Labour and the LPUK fourth and fifth respectively. That's a swing of 16.3 from the WLA to Plaid Cymru.
The Lib Dems are down, or the Welsh Liberal Alliance are down 4.8% here. Plaid Cymru up 4.3. They're down by, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong one. 23.7%. The Lib Dems are down by here. The Plaid Cymru are also down. They're down 8.8%, but they're down less, and therefore they took it.
Yeah,
Labour,
and a lot more candidates than usual.
Yeah, well, exactly. Labour took a lot of the vote here. New entry, they didn't stand here last time. They won 16.8% of the vote. And so I think that's a lot where a lot of the WLA numbers went. And the Conservatives are up 8.3% here. And the LPUK also stood here. So a lot of new parties in there taking votes from the parties that stood here last time. Hence why Plaid Cymru and the WLA are both down.
Right, HK, I'm sure we'll have you on later or after in the post show, so thank you for joining us for now.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right.
He sounded almost forlorn at the end there.
I believe we have another guest.
We are proud to welcome another guest, Toast and Russian, the Conservative No, Toast is no longer a deputy. Toast, you were deputy leader.
Toast is the Chancellor.
And also Chancellor of the Exchequer.
What a great
I believe he's still getting his
Toast,
headset.
are you with us?
No, he's still getting his headset sorted. So in the meantime, whilst he...
That intro is entirely futile.
I think Toast is with us. Toast,
We actually...
Oh, yeah.
How are you doing, Toast?
Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening. Good evening.
Oh dear,
How are you
it's what
feeling?
a calamity.
How am I feeling? Well, I'm feeling just a little bit annoyed because currently the seat that I'm in the studio doesn't have any screens for me to be able to see the results. So would you chaps be willing to just let me wait 2 minutes while I get a screen shuffled in by one of the new interns, if that's the going
Well,
joke?
Yeah, we
At
can
the
wait.
Guardian.
How do you feel that the Kent Declaration is now imminent? Your seat up against the incredible Labour candidate M. Yeehawk?
Yeah, I'm just talking.
I believe you just sorted yourself out, Toast.
Oh, oh.
your seat will be announced shortly, so we'll keep you in the studio for that. The required swing.
While we're here, well, I might as well talk about the required swing here. That Something New, who were a party that was new eventually last election, they haven't stood this time. They needed 16.6% to take it. Obviously, they aren't standing, so it'll be the adjusted swing will be between a different party, whoever comes second, and what they'll have needed to take it.
Yes. So we'll hold off until hopefully until Toast gets back, because it was his seat, so he might as well wait.
They were waiting for Kent for the rest of the night.
The whole of Kent is waiting for the Chancellor to be on the broadcast to know who their MP is going to be.
We sent a message to the returning officer.
Yeah, it's just like, hold on, guys, just give us a sec. Are we?
I think.
Oh God, we are. Shall we just get on with it then?
Yeah, I think we'll have to do the Kent result and come back to the Chancellor.
Yeah, we'll come back to the Chancellor.
We're going to have to do the Kent result because we were expecting a result from Manchester North and Bedfordshire and Hertfordshire very imminently.
Hertfordshire. Because I know there'll be Hertfordshireans who will be very unhappy. Is that the right term?
Thanks, Will. Okay, anyway, the Conservatives hold, no surprise, they're toasting Russian with 327,979 votes, and the LP UK and Clubs second and third. Labour Party, we'll just Mihawk, yeah, and the TPM in last place there. We are a little bit behind in the results.
A paper candidate in Kent, Emmy Hawk did a very good job.
Great
and I must
campaign.
Say, on behalf of the leadership, on behalf of the Labour leadership as our acting chief whip, I'm very, very proud of them.
Right, let's just jump ahead since we are behind. Manchester North.
The Conservatives need a 9% swing here to take it from the Greens.
But they're not running.
Given what we're looking at for the Greens, of course.
Yeah, Tories aren't running here. The LP UK gain from the Greens.
Easily.
Massive swing. 31.6%. Huge swing.
Huge swing.
290,375 votes for Three Commas Club. 179,686 for Zygarde in second place. A majority of just shy of 93,000.
The Greens here, just to give you some context as to how bad this result is for them, they are down 35.5%. They're down to 10.5% of the vote.
A recurring story, I assume.
I would think so. Over the course of the night, we'll see that, I think, again and again.
The night is not going to
Greens
look
are
good
in
for the Green Party.
No, I don't think so. Given where they are in the polls. The LP UK needed a 10% swing here. They did triple that. They took it in style. They've got a significant majority.
If you're just joining us, this is Sky News and the Guardian bringing you the election results. I am Weebrew, who was just giving you the stats there was Will Shakespeare, and bringing in the guests.
I'm Will, hello.
And giving other analysis.
Just in case people forget my voice.
Viljo, how is everyone doing? We've got one more result actually, so I don't care how you're doing. We've got it from Bedford and... Do you want to do the second word? Hertfordshire.
Hertfordshire.
Yeah.
The Liberal Democrats have gained from the Conservative Party in Bedford and Hertfordshire. Random Man 44, very random name, 286,030 votes against the Conservative JD 2002-56 with 245,492. That is a 14.2% swing from the Conservatives to Liberal Democrats and about a 40,000 majority.
And they needed 11.6% to take it, and they managed that. With some room to spare. The Green, no, that's the, hang on, where are we? Hertfordshire.
Hertfordshire, yeah.
Bedfordshire and Hertfordshire. I don't know where that is on my sheet. Oh, there it is. The Liberal Democrats are up 11.2% here. The Conservatives are down 17.4%, and the LP UK are up 6.1%.
In about a minute's time, we will have Leeds and Wakefield, I believe, LP UK seat. Currently?
UK seat. Labour hoping to take this, they need a 6.5% swing.
As shown there on the graphics. Okay.
Used to be a Labour seat. Back in general election 9, Labour held that seat. They took it from the United Communists, but the LP UK have held it since general election 10.
So interesting seat definitely to follow. We'll get that in about a minute's time. Okay.
Quite a swing actually to go. Sorry, while we're on it, to go from the Communists to Labour to the LP UK.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
We have another guest about to join us in the studio.
Oh.
A new member of the Conservative Party, former member of the Loyalist League. Huzia, welcome to the studio. How are you feeling about the Conservatives' chances tonight?
I think we're doing really well. I think you could be seeing another 1992, 1983. Sorry. I think we're looking really strong. Blurple's looking really good. We've had a few results that were a little worse than we were hoping for, but overall, really good.
Well, we can give you another result. This is Leeds and Wakefield. The Libertarian Party of the United Kingdom holds their seat in Leeds and Wakefield. Dexter Ammo gets 195,950 votes. Mika 3740 of the Labour Party gets 151,245 votes. And Parado of the Democratic Reformist Front gets 42,967 votes. Again, this kind of targeting of two regions seems to have played so well for the Democratic Reformist Front for such a new party.
Labour needed a 6.5% swing to take this, and they've not managed it. It's a tiny swing. It's a swing to Labour, but it's not enough. Labour down 4.8% here. The LP UK down 6.2%, and that's because of the Democratic Reformist Front winning 11% of the vote. They've come in and they've taken both parties down, and so they've basically nullified anything that Labour might have tried to do in order to take this seat.
So, Jan from the Tories, you're a relatively new member of the Conservative Party. What made you join the Tories?
I think they have a good plan for governance, for providing a strong and stable government,
Take a drink.
and for kind of bringing us back to a more moderate, compassionate society.
It's not very moderate to remove the votes of 16, 17-year-olds, is it?
Well, I mean, some would argue that, but I would argue that we're just bringing it to a level where we're allowing those those with the responsibility of adults to have the responsibility of voting, and that's not disenfranchising as much as it is recognizing that there's certain dynamics that should be.
Well, we have our next result about to come in Somerset and Bristol, which is the Deputy Prime Minister's seat, so most likely... In fact, no, it's quite close, actually. 7.6% required swing for the Liberal Democrats. We have that result.
One of the smallest swings.
Yeah, one of the smaller swings. We have that now. Lovely. The LPUK have managed to hold the seat because Liberal Democrats were not standing. Freemanite 19 with 309,181 seats. Votes, sorry. Yeah, a lot of seats.
That's a libertarian majority, I think.
The Jake Xbox of the Social Democrat Party, 231,047 votes. And the Walker Life, the independent candidate, ex-Tory, is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
I think so.
Ex-Tory indeed.
114,031 votes. Are you regretting your decision now, Prime Minister?
Really, really good result for the SDP. 35.3% of the vote here. Libertarians are down 10.3%. They've still, Freemanite, the Deputy Prime Minister, holds on strongly. 6% swing to the SDP.
So, yeah, an adjusted required swing of 23.7% as well. So
they were well short. A good result, but they were well short of taking it. But they should stand there next time.
Yeah, less seats
really
as well.
base.
If you stand in a region, there's more likely that people are going to vote for you.
And they're standing.
A 6% swing against the Deputy Prime Minister is a pretty good achievement for the SDP.
In this region, there's also a SDP candidate in Dorset. So we'll see how they do and whether they get a list seat. But definitely, this is a good result for the SDP, and they should stand here at the next election because they've got a very good base now.
Well, speaking of
I'm
results...
going to kick out our current guest and bring in...
That's a nice way to say goodbye.
I'm going to bring in the Deputy Leader of the Social Democratic Party, Samuel J. Booker.
Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Well, hold any thoughts that you may have, because we have another result. Except
Don't
breathing
talk.
and general functions, because you need those. We have a result from Cambridgeshire.
Welcome in. Shut up.
A lovely image there of, is that Cambridge University? Probably. The Conservatives, Purple Slug holding the seat of Cambridgeshire. Purple Slug with 194,752 votes. David Johansen of the Labour Party with 89,080 votes. And Lenin Bread of the Classical Liberals, 76,779 votes. The independent there, who has stood at last seat.
Swing.
Yeah, 29.2% swing, but the independent who stood last election, still there
So-
with 29,199 votes.
Cambridgeshire, it's worth noting, Cambridgeshire was a special case at the Tories versus an independent candidate. At that point, Kuri Mizumi was running as an independent Liberal. In this election, they were running as an independent loony. So it was a two-party race between the Conservatives and Independent. The Conservatives won a huge swathe of the vote here. They won 85% of the vote here. It's 50% this time, so still an excellent result. But a big swing against them because we're returning to normal times in Cambridgeshire rather than the Conservatives versus Independent.
Yeah, that was a very odd makeup of.
Yeah, it's a special case, so I wouldn't read too much into that swing. It's a very unique seat.
So Samuel Booker, SDPs are currently on 0 seats, but what you've seen is a pretty decent show in second and third, which is very on brand from what happened in the devolved election. So how do you think the night's going so far?
I think it's gone really well so far. Actually, we're definitely hopeful of getting some list seats. I think that's not outside of the realm of possibility, and some more first past the post seats as the night goes on. We're definitely confident.
Well, speaking of first past the post seats, our next result comes from Nottinghamshire, a required swing of 11.9% from Labour to the Conservatives. We can actually give you that result.
It used to be an NUP seat, and then the Tories won it in a by-election, and then Labour took it back at the last election. We took it at the last election.
Well, let's get you that result right now. The Labour Party has held Nottinghamshire, Grenat, with 83,840 votes, and 12 Carb with 151,719 votes for the Conservative Party.
Good result.
Yeah, big majority, 132,121 majority.
Is that a slightly increased majority as well?
I do believe it is.
Have you got the percentages?
I have got the percentages. I can bring you the percentages right now. What seat are we on? Nottinghamshire. The percentages for Nottinghamshire are 65.2% for Labour, which is up 3.3%, and 34.8% for the Tories, down 3.3%.
So a modest increase.
Majority. The Tories needed an 11.9%, almost a 12% swing to take this seat. It's actually the opposite. It's a swing from the Tories to Labour. So the opposite of what they needed here.
Right, so our next result will be in about 2 minutes' time. It will be Birmingham, Solihull and Coventry. It's actually my first MP seat. Throwback. To
A bit far from Scotland, isn't it? Long commute.
Yeah, long commute. I mean, yeah.
The
But
train's
yeah.
supposed to be working.
Yeah, we'll have that in about a minute's time. So you think that the SDP will pick up some list seats, Samuel? That's very possible. But again, kind of the same question I asked HK. You guys this is the first time you're standing in a general election, and there's already talks and leaks of you guys organising a government. Do you guys think that you're genuinely ready to govern the United Kingdom?
Well, if you look inside our party, we have some very experienced individuals. And yes, we may be a new grouping, but as individuals, we have all proved ourselves individually that we are capable of governing. And I think we really can be the key to unlocking a progressive government and making sure that the Tories do end their reign of 3 years, I think you said it was earlier.
How important is it to make sure that the Conservatives don't stay in government?
I think it's a bit more important than people are suggesting, because we've seen some questionable policy. You spoke about Greg Fest, and there's the whole tear gas thing, which I won't get into, but it is more important than people are making out. And I think for a shift over to the left for the country, to get a progressive government, a moderate government, not this moderacy that the Conservatives are trying to sell you, because that's their spin on things. It's not going to be moderate. We've seen that over the last few years. And I think it's great for this country that we're actually going to have some people, possibly going to have some people that actually want to improve things for everyday people.
Well, whilst Viljo cracks open a cold one, I'll bring you the Birmingham Solihull and Coventry result.
I'd just like to thank the Guardian intern for passing me a can of energy.
Liberal Democrats have held Birmingham, Solihull and Coventry. Vlad the Lad, the deputy leader, with 276,570 votes. Bamboo Online of the Libertarian Party, 224,803 votes. And Park Ji Sung, 777 of the Conservative Party with 116,140 votes. That's a 2.4% swing from LPUK to Liberal Democrats. So is that an increase then?
It is. The Liberal Democrats went up by 8%. The Libertarians also had an increase here, by 3.3%, aided by the fact that I was going to say one party didn't stand here this time, but they probably did, but it wasn't one of the top two. The Libertarians are up, but not by as much, and the Conservatives are up 18.8%. So it is an increased majority for the Democrats. The LPUK needed a nearly 2% swing to take this. The Lib Dems took from them more than the Libertarians would have needed to take it. So they've almost, in fact, doubled how much the Libertarians will need next time in order to have another shot at the seat.
Our next seat declaration comes from Essex, where the required swing as of last election would be 5.6% from the Conservatives.
Do we have time?
No, we don't.
To just, this is a seat with an interesting history. It's just a seat with an interesting history, which is that it was Conservative in GE8, then it became Labour, then it went to the Clibs, and now it's a Conservative seat. So it's been all over the place in the last 4 general elections.
We can bring you that one right now. The Labour Party has gained from the Conservatives, putting them down into third place. Deputy Leader of the Labour Party, Sam IRL, with 317,305 votes. Vitiating, who was on the show earlier, also Deputy Leader, but of the Classical Liberals, 262,698 votes. And Le Chevalier Malfait, from the Conservative Party, with 238,663 votes, putting them into third place. Majority of about 55,000 votes.
That is a terrible result for the Conservatives. They haven't just lost that seat; they've
their candidate is third.
They've fallen to third. Their actual fall isn't that big. It's only 14.2%, which is smaller than some of the other falls we've seen in other seats. Still not good. The Clibs are now in second here. So Labour up 6.5%, the Clibs up 7.7%, and in the end, it's a 10.4% swing from Conservatives to Labour. So almost double what they needed.
It's a fantastic result for Labour.
Yeah, definitely, and a terrible result for the Tories.
Yeah.
Now that I believe
from Matthew Walker, the Independent, congratulating the Deputy Prime Minister on his victory and wishing him and his family the best going into the next term.
Oh, what a guy. I believe that was the last seat of the grouping of the East of England region. I think. Don't quiz me on my British geography. So I believe they're now working out and counting the list votes of the East of England, and we can bring you that now. So the East of England list, the Classical Liberals have lost a list seat, putting them on 2. The Conservatives have also lost a list seat, and the LPUK are on 1. So that's 2 seats for the Clibs, 2 seats for the Tories, and 1 seat for the LPUK. So yeah, I guess that's not really a surprise, considering how hard these 3 parties hit the East of England in the campaign.
No, and it's traditionally quite a right-wing region. Obviously not in the constituencies. Constituencies have been a bit mixed. But clearly the right-wing parties have made up for that by winning these lists, sweeping the board on the lists. All 5
I
going.
think we may have an issue with the result.
I think so as well.
I think it's what it is. I'm just looking here.
Not add up.
Well, the minuses and the pluses don't add up, but we do believe confirming that that is the correct result. It's just the minuses compared to last election that's wrong. So it is still 2 seats for the Clibs, 2 seats for the Tories, and 1 seat for the LPUK. It's just I don't believe it's -1. It'll be some other.
That is correct. The minuses are an issue.
Yeah.
Sorted.
I thought that when it came up.
Yeah, we were all kind of perplexed there for a second, but yeah, just checking with my friends in the electoral office. We believe
We were
that.
all We were all thinking it. We were all looking at it, going, "That's."
But yeah,
that's
the result at the end of the day is right. So no need to worry.
The constituency seats here broke for Labour, Norfolk and Suffolk. Cambridgeshire went to the Tories. Liberal Democrats took Bedfordshire and Hertfordshire from the Tories, and Labour took Essex. So the Tories, the LPUK, and the Classical making up for those lacking constituency seats by sweeping the board.
Our next result is our final result in Wales minus the list. It's Glamorgan and Gwent. A 1.2% swing required from the Liberal Democrats, well, I guess the Welsh Liberal Alliance, to Plaid Cymru. Let's give you that result right now, actually.
Also, the seat of the Leader of the Opposition.
Here we go. The Leader of the Opposition has gained from the Welsh Liberal Alliance in Glamorgan and Gwent, Secretary Salami taking 277,850 votes. The Plaid Cymru leader, Victor HR, on 226,880 votes. Fine Porpoise of the Conservative Party in third on 192,266. Rouge Omar of the Welsh Liberal Alliance in fourth on 167,091 seats. And Bunny 19,624 seats. So the Welsh Liberal Alliance put down into fourth.
Not a good result for them here. Welsh Liberal Alliance's vote dropped by 4.8%. Not a big drop, but other parties went up and overtook them. The Labour needed a 1.2% swing here. They more than managed that. And now this will be a seat in future that's fought between Plaid Cymru and Labour at the next election.
Well, we can talk to the acting leader of the Liberal Democrats, who a member of the Welsh Liberal Alliance. Willem, how do you feel about that loss from holding the seat into fourth place?
It's sad to see that both of our Wales constituencies weren't going the way we planned, but yeah, it was expected a bit, but it's still a sad loss to be seen.
A little mix up in the schedule, but we have the Wales list seats now. Labour on 1, the Welsh Liberal Alliance on 1, and the Conservative Party on 1. I believe our next result will be in Surrey and then South East London. So yeah, there's your results for the Wales list seats. One apiece for the three big ones.
Yeah.
Well, what do you make of the fact that, well, I guess it's a good thing that the Welsh Liberal Alliance managed to pick up a list here, since they lost both of their seats from first past the post.
Yeah, I mean, it's good. It's a way up for us at the moment. I mean, we were looking downwards in the polls, so grabbing a list seat in Wales is good for us. And I mean, we're going to push harder for Wales, increase education spending, those kind of things. So yeah, we're looking forward.
All right. As I said, our next seat will be in Surrey. In fact, now I believe. Oh no, we've got a minute.
Worth noting that Plaid Cymru had a seat on the Wales list. That's where that Welsh Liberal Alliance seat has come from.
Okay, we can bring you the Surrey seat now. The 27 point. This is another green seat, right? So expect some changes.
The Libertarians need a big swing here to take it, but I expect if the numbers we've seen for the Greens so far are repeated.
Well, I think the Greens were second, right?
They didn't stand here.
Yeah, the Greens were second, they didn't stand, and that leads us to LPUK holding in Surrey. Cthulhu's Cool 2 with 411,321 votes, and Mario Gog 189,002 votes for the Labour Party. So what you don't see here, what the story doesn't tell here, is probably that Labour have picked up a lot of the Green votes. Will Shakespeare?
I can give you I can give you Labour's increase. I can't give you how many the Greens had at the last election, but I can tell you how many Labour has now won. They have won 31.5% of. Is that
big majority as well? Yeah. 222,000 votes.
5% they've won. The Libertarians are actually down here. They're down by 9%. So the Labour have picked up a mix of Green votes and also LPUK votes to get a strong first showing here.
Yeah, so again, the Greens weren't standing, so we can't, bash them all day. But big swings, big changes. It's one of those seats that, the LPUK are holding it, and they're holding it quite largely. But it's one of those ones that in a couple of general elections' time, the story could be completely different.
If Labour, I mean, a 20.4% swing from the LPUK to Labour here, first time standing. If they can stand here next time and fight a good campaign, have a good term, then the Libertarians should keep an eye on it. They may have a big majority, but I think Labour's big swing here should concern them for the
Let's
future.
take a little bit of time to talk to Willem about the upcoming Liberal Democrat leadership election. So, as people will probably know, the Lib Dem leader stepped down. Leadership elections are ongoing right now. Are you I guess, look, the polling isn't good for the Lib Dems. Is this a needed change? Are you upset that Ray has left? Like, where are you standing in all of this?
Personally, I saw it coming. I had talks with Ray, and he wasn't feeling too great. So I saw his departure coming a bit. It's still sad to see him go. I mean, he's been a great leader. Even though we were going down in the polls, the last polls, when we saw them that it was going again, I mean, it was positive. And then he left, and yeah, I get his reasonings.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Our next result will be in Southeast London, as I said earlier, in about a minute's time. A marginal seat, Will, would you say? Will Shakespeare?
Where are we? Southeast London.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Conservatives need the Conservatives need a 0.8% swing in their favour here in order to take it. That's not a particularly big ask, though we've seen swings against them in seats before. So we'll see whether they're able to take this from Labour, or whether Labour will increase the majority as they have in a few seats we've seen already.
Before the results are announced, I'd like to bring in HK again, one of the candidates from the Social Democratic Party for South East London. HK, how are you feeling?
I could say how I'm feeling, but I'd probably make an Ofcom violation. I am incredibly nervous. I feel like I had a really good campaign. I had so many people coming to help me out as well, but I am scared of falling just short.
Dun dun. Dun dun. I have the control.
And I'm going to sit after you as well, because my screen's a bit behind yours.
Well, you can hear it here first. Labour has held South East London. Far too much pressure with 352,002 votes. Tasered on the Conservatives in second place with 308,611. And there you are, HK, from the Social Democrats. In a respectable third, though, 222,000 people came out to vote for a new party, the Social Democrats, and an additional 140,334 came out to vote for X4RCO5 of the Democratic Reformers Fund. So, you combine those votes, two new parties, they would be in second place.
Great result for the two new parties, 22.1% for the SDP, well done HK, and 13.6% for the Democratic Reformist Front. Again, they're showing a good set of results in London. And I think the more results we see from London, the higher the chances are that they will win a list seat. The Tories needed a 0.8% swing here to take it from Labour. Actually, there was a swing against the Tories. Both parties went down because of the two new parties. 16.6% drop for Labour, 19.2% drop for the Tories, however, so Labour held on to the seat with a slight swing in their favour.
So, upset but optimistic, is that fair enough, HK?
Yeah, I will say it's a bit of a surprising result. I did feel I had a bit more of an active campaign than maybe the Conservative Party candidate, but I am happy with the effort I put in. I'm still going to be fighting for South East London whether or not I win, and I am hopeful I'll get a list seat. So, yeah, disappointed but still optimistic.
Our next seat is Central London, so perhaps we should bring the candidate from the Classical Liberals in now?
Before we move on to Central London, I'd just like to pick up on a trend that we're noticing, that seats that the Tories need a small swing in which to take from Labour are having swings against them. So I said that was the case before they revealed, and we're seeing that in quite a few seats where the Tories only need a small swing in their favour, it's actually against them. increasing Labour's majority.
And is that the kind of turning tail? You know, the Conservatives
Well,
have been down in national polls recently. Is that really the reason?
The Tories have been very buoyed by the first few results. There was a lot of good Conservative holds that perhaps reassured them. But they should be concerned at the fact that they are missing out on a lot of these low-hanging fruit seats with majority that a very small swing could take, and they are swinging against the Tories and towards Labour, increasing their majorities. And this is a trend we're seeing increasingly as we get more seats.
All right, Viljo, you want to bring the guest in?
I will indeed bring in Star, the classical Liberal candidate for Central London, as we are about to get the result now.
How are you,
Well,
Star?
How are you feeling?
Hello, everyone. Well, I'm
Hello.
feeling pretty good. I mean, so far, I'd say I'd characterize the results for the Clibs as being not great, not terrible. We've seen a lot of good Tory seats and good Tory holds at the start, but I think as the election night goes on, we're going to see things develop in altogether a different way.
Here's your party. Sorry, Will, we're going to have to interrupt you. The results are here for Central London. You can't interrupt the results, Will! Central London.
You interrupted me first!
The classical Liberals have gained from Labour in Central London. Star, you have won 243,992 votes, and the Owo Trongo, 217,663 votes. Ziggy Stardust Starman of the Conservative Party with 166,974 votes, and Guns 11 with 90,758. That's a majority of 26,000, Star.
Yes, I know, I'm quite surprised by that one. But that being said, I have to thank my Liberal Democrat partners for endorsing me in this seat and really giving me the firm opportunity to win the seat. I think if I hadn't had that support from our friends in the Classical Liberal Party, I wouldn't have won the seat, quite simply.
Okay, we have another result straight away, Will, so we'll have to get a double header on the statistics.
Okay. Oh.
Leicestershire declaration, 12% required swing from the Conservatives to the Clubs. And the Conservatives hold since the Clubs weren't standing. Confessions GB with 343,303 votes, and Butterlands of Labour with 88,859 votes, which is a small swing to Labour. But yeah, the Club's not standing. Conservatives, I assume, increasing their vote.
This should have an adjusted swing, but it doesn't. The adjusted swing here is 25.2%. So Labour is well short of that.
And that's partly due to endorsement deals, it's partly due to parties making deals to keep others out, and so on and so forth.
The adjusted swing is the difference between what Labour got here last time and what the Conservatives got here last time.
Yes.
The Labour increasing their vote by 20%, but the problem was that the Conservatives increased their vote by 21%. So we're seeing the opposite of the trend we've noticed elsewhere, where the Tories are swinging to Labour in marginals. Well, this isn't a marginal though, but this is a swing from Labour to the Tories. But again, it's not a marginal seat. This wasn't a seat that Labour would have thought they would take anyway with the 20% swing.
Our next declaration is in Shropshire and Staffordshire. This is the New Britain seat that has been vacated and put between, I believe, the Classical Liberals and I assume the Conservative Party, if my memory serves me right. Small swing required, but this will be a new candidate. Let's take a look at the results.
LP UK, Tories and Lib Dems standing here.
Not what this says. The Classical Liberals have gained from New Britain 403,188 votes, and the Conservatives in second with 351,752 votes. English Regionals there in third. So the Clubs gaining from New Britain, who held the seat. Obviously, as you would assume, massive swing because New Britain aren't standing.
Yeah.
But that is a new marginal seat that has been created.
It is. I can tell you the difference is the Clubs got 52.3% of the vote here. The Tories got 45.6%. So there's about just under 7 points, 6.7 points in it.
But if you're looking at our exit poll, it's another seat for the Clubs. It's another seat for a possible Sunrise government or a possible Conservative Club, whatever government. That kind of thing that you talked about in the pre-show, Will, of Twisted being the strongest person out of these exit polls, could actually turn into reality with these results.
It's certainly
Star,
looking
as
very
a
good.
classical liberal member, what do you think your parties think? What are your party's thoughts on your coalition options at the moment?
Well, I think it's fair to say that we're looking into a variety of options, and we have to thank the endorsement deals that we've been able to negotiate with both sides of the aisle. And I'm not sure that I'm necessarily able to say much more, but I have it in confidence that most of the membership leans towards a Sunrise Plus deal, and that's all I'm going to say.
Sneaky leaky. Our next result
Sneaky
comes
leaky.
from South Yorkshire. This is a green seat, right? Or was a green seat?
Yes, it's a green seat. The Tories needed a 13.5% swing. Be a big swing in ordinary times, but we're seeing the collapse of the Green Party tonight, so anything's possible.
Yes, and
Exactly.
speaking of that collapse, sorry HK, we have the result here. Padanub has gained from the Green Party, Labour on 285,882 votes. The LPUK Gravity Cat in second with 263,886 votes, which puts the Greens in third. Coziest Squire 18 on 37,679 votes. 47.1% swing.
This is the
That's an
result.
incredible swing.
This is the result that is going to define the night for the Greens. That is a huge swing. The Greens are down here to 6.4%. That's down 45.5% since the last election.
Christ.
Labour took it. They didn't even stand here last time, so most of the Green votes went to Labour, who got 48.7%.
The Patella moment of the night.
This will be exactly. This was a fairly 45.5% is a good margin to hold a seat by. It was a fairly good hold, and it's gone, just wiped out. And I think this is going to define the night for the Greens. This is one of the moments we're going to remember this, in a few hours.
We are an hour into results, and at this point, the Conservatives have 10 seats, Labour have 8 seats, the Classical Liberals 5. 7 for the Libertarian Party, 3 for the LPUK, and 1 for another party.
Plaid
The
Cymru.
Greens still on 0 seats. The Greens are not having a good night, not at all.
The Greens collapsing across the country so far. And
I
don't think
believe
that's going to change.
after the Shropshire seat, that was our last seat of the West Midlands. The calculations have been done, and we have, I believe, the West Midlands list.
With no graphical errors, hopefully.
The Conservatives
We
have
make no
2
promise.
list seats, which is, according to this, up 1. Labour have 1, the LPUK have 1, and the STP get their first seat of the general election, a list seat in the West Midlands, which puts them on 1.
Their first ever Westminster seat. It is worth noting there's a reason those ones don't add up, and it's that parties lost list seats.
Sorry, what was that? Well, that parties that lost their seat.
Parties that didn't win any seats, that won seats last time but lost them this time, do not appear on the graphic.
Oh, of course, the minuses don't show because they're not gaining any seats. That makes sense.
So those parties have gained one. The SDP, Labour, and the SDP and the Conservatives have all gained one, but they've gained them from parties that have lost their seats and therefore don't appear.
So, big result for the SDP. Their first seat in this general election. Yeah, so that puts the Tories on 12
First
now.
Any general election.
Yeah. That puts the Tories on 12 now, and Labour on 9. So they're close behind.
Just worth noting that the parties that lost seats here from the last election were New Britain, who had 1, the Liberal Democrats, who had 1, and the Classical Liberals, who had 1, who don't have seats in this region, and those seats have gone to Labour, the SDP, and the Tories.
Our next seat is a relatively uncontroversial one, you would expect. Northumbria.
Before Northumbria is announced, I'd like to bring in the putist power of the Social Democratic Party to talk about, in a moment, how we're getting on.
But first, let's have the Northumbria result.
Ooh.
Classical Liberals have held Northumbria.
Oh
To
my
the surprise
God.
of nobody.
I'm so shocked.
I must admit, I am in awe.
The Classical Liberals, Twisted Nook, the leader of the Classical Liberals, with 337,733. That's a lot of 7s and 3s. Zombie Rat, the Labour candidate there, a respectable 264,000 votes. A majority of 73,000.
And there's a reason that we're not surprised. Just to give the context, see, it's been a CLIB seat for the last 5 general elections now.
Wow.
It's general election 9. Twisted Nuke, the leader of the classical, has held it for that long. Their majority is slightly reduced, down by 4.7. So a swing to Labour, but under half of what they needed to actually take it.
Now, the
So a
SDP
good
didn't
hold.
stand in this seat, but they've just
Well,
won
no
their
shit,
first MP
Sherlock.
seat. So, I'd like to
Hey,
congratulate
Ofcom!
people power, bringing us our first Ofcom strike of the night. I'm sorry, Ofcom. I
Well,
know
I'm
you're
gonna,
watching.
well, let's be
Best
honest.
we
I'm
managed
not
to
looking
beat
forward
election.
to paying that fine.
Well, let's
we
be
managed
honest.
to
You
devolve
had
the
me in for the devolved stream.
Yeah.
You knew this was going to happen.
Yeah.
But yes, the main story that we have
Yeah.
you here for is the SDP have gained a seat. And no reaction from Putis. How do you feel?
Sorry.
None.
The problem is, I need to visually watch the stream to get the results in. But that also means that because my laptop and everything that I normally use to watch the
But
stream.
you're in
says,
the studio. What are you talking about? Question mark.
Yeah,
Question mark.
exactly.
Stop! Oh god, I've broken the fourth wall. Anyway,
But yes,
so-
are you happy that the SDP have won a seat? We're limited on time here.
Fucking yes.
Oh, there's another Ofcom. There's
Drink
another
every time
Ofcom
there's an
fine.
Ofcom strike.
Ofcom jokes are
I'm
going to
gonna-
become the new
Just
door
put it to
joke.
Saunders, it'll be fine.
Oh, God.
I'm looking at the Guardian's bank balance and I'm screaming at the money Ofcom's about to take out of it.
We need that like donation thing at the bottom of every article.
I'll
Well,
get on it right now.
Yeah, send money, please.
I am
our next
on
result.
the moon with our results.
Please donate to my Patreon.
Alright.
The deputy leader of the Social Democrats has said he'll pay the fine. We're very grateful for that.
Okay, our next result, please, is in Lothian and Fife.
Ooh.
Calm down. It's Liberal Democracy. I don't know who's running. Let's take a look.
Somebody didn't read their sheet.
That's me, you spoon. Liberal Democrats.
Required swing of 6.4%.
Yeah.
And boy, did the Liberal Democrats deliver.
Yeah, Liberal Democrats hold Lothian and Fife. Weebrew, charming name. 269,229 votes. Regan 0 of the Conservatives on 153,745. And the former First Minister and Green candidate Ali 3, Alive 3, with 54,318 votes, which I'm sure will give us all the stats in a second, but that is an increase.
Some rare good news for the Greens, actually.
Relatively
They didn't
speaking.
stand here. That's only because they didn't stand here last. So take from that
Good
what you will.
news.
Good news. You got better than
Drama
zero.
fans.
You got better than zero. So that's the Conservatives needed a 6.4% swing to take this from the Democrats. It's actually the opposite. Again, we're seeing that trend again of the Tories missing out on potentially marginal seats, with the swing going in the opposite direction, a swing away from the Tories to Liberal Democrats here.
It's a fat mandate, 115,000 majority. Lovely jubbly.
Very low turnout though.
We are behind in results, so I'm going to have to press on, sorry. We're going to Merseyside next, to Liverpool. The required swing from Labour to Conservatives, 8.2. Yeah, big Labour seat as well says. Let's give you the results straight away.
It's been Labour since general election 8.
Since general election 8, and it's still Labour's. Labour hold Merseyside, a rich tea biscuit, with 385,793 votes. Hoosier 3201 of the Conservative Party, 259,123 votes. And Ale Gwym of the Greens, 24,850 votes, which is a 1.3 swing towards Labour, and a majority of 126,000.
Bucking the trend.
Speaking of a rich tea biscuit, I can now welcome Labour's former deputy leader and the candidate for Merseyside studio. How are you feeling about that result?
No MP.
Well, I am absolutely over the moon to be able to represent Merseyside in Parliament now. No, not on the moon. I think that was an earlier campaign event where someone went to the moon. And can I just say congratulations, Weebrew.
Oh, thank you very much.
I think the one event where you ran up to the podium and said, "Hello," I think everyone just fell in love with you and had to vote for you then.
You know, it just really talks about the
They just
passion
fell in
that I
in
have
love
for
with that
Lothian.
Scottish accent. Well played.
Oh, just the most tear-jerking speech I've ever done in my life. Really took me hours to write it. But yes, a Labour hold, your majority of 126,000. I mean, it's a good story for you, Rich Tea Biscuit.
Well, it's a good night so far for the Labour Party. So I think we ran a good campaign across the country. So yeah, really pleased.
Bucking the trend here, the Tories, in other potentially marginal seats where they needed a swing to take it from Labour, they actually had a swing in their direction this time, like in some other seats. But again, a very small swing.
Our next result is the Southwest London seat, a lovely little watercolour here, shown on your screen. Very nice, very pretty. A required swing of 4 from the Liberal Democrats to the Conservatives if they want to take this seat.
Liberal Democrats aren't running here.
Which is why probably
the swing.
Well, the Conservatives have gained from the Liberal Democrats in Southwest London. Lee Zelda has got 229,983 votes. The Clibs are in second, the Cult Factor on 218,133 votes, and the DRF Super PAC Man 04 with 58,973, which is a big swing from from Lib Dems to Conservatives.
I say, didn't she represent this seat in the didn't they represent this seat in the last when they're part of the Lib Dems?
Yeah, I believe she took the seat from someone who left it and then has now stood as the Conservative and won.
Lee Salter took the seat from herself, and I would like to give Salter special thanks for her work on our website at the moment. The Guardian's election website has been an incredible task, and we're very proud of her. So, although I'm a Labour member, I'd like to congratulate her on winning that seat.
How are you going to pay for those upgrades now with the Ofcom fines?
Fuck! Why didn't we think of that?
It's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult. But we're about to move. I believe we've got a result imminent.
Just on Southwest London, previously a safe Liberal Democrat, they'd held it, didn't stand here, and so a big swing to the Tories.
And also there seems to have been. Oh, sorry.
we're needing to keep to the schedule here, Peters. Our next, we'll have you in a second. Our next result is in Hampshire North.
I do hope this goes to Lib Dem.
Well, it doesn't. Conservatives have held Hampshire North. No. Unlucky for Jellicoe. Cis33 error with 274,367 votes. Jellicoe, I believe, increasing their percentage since last election with 181,561 votes. That's a majority of just under 93,000 votes.
Unfortunately, not increasing their swing. That's a swing from the Liberal Democrats to the Conservatives of 7.3%. As 33 error increases their majority. Congratulations to them.
I have to say, I sense some upcoming salts.
I can give you the numbers here. 9.8% increase.
9.1% increase for the Tories.
9.8%, yeah.
Wow.
So they've now got 60.2% to 39.8%.
Not looking too good for the Lib Dems at the moment. We'll see how it changes.
This is a seat.
Not looking good for Jellicoe either. A veteran of Hampshire North.
Usually,
I believe in General Election 10.
General Election 9, Labour took the seat.
General Election 9, in fact.
General Election 9, Labour took the seat from the Conservatives in that election, and then lost.
This is in fact the third general election where Jelly has fought for Hampshire North and lost.
Yes.
All right, way to rub it in, Viljo.
Actually,
word of advice: have you considered moving elsewhere?
Well, I was going to say, actually, General Election 9 was actually, I think it was my first election. I think it was Will's first election.
My first election as well, yeah.
And I think we all won our seats that night. And now one of us is in the Guardian, one of us is in Merseyside, and one of us is without a seat.
Right, well, we have our next result. It is in East London. The required swing from Green to Conservative would be 9.6. So again, a seat that the Greens have ran in last election. So we could see some changes, we could not. Let's take a look.
A potential Labour gain?
Correct, Amundo. Labour has gained from the Greens. Chairman Meeseeks, 132,307 votes, puts them.
I mean, not to toot my own horn, but I did have a prediction sheet earlier that I shared around for fellow MPs, and that was one of my predictions.
Well, you've got it spot on. East London goes to Labour. Conservatives in second with 97,332 votes. Realchaw for the SDP in a close third. Again, a good showing for the SDP. 91,698. Fresh Lama, the DRF, overtaking Labour. Overtaking the Greens in fourth. Fresh Lama there with 58,000 votes, and the Emil, our best 16,397 votes.
Well, they clearly weren't the best tier, were they?
It's a devastating result for the Greens. It's not as big.
Do they
a
have
shock
any
as in South
non-devastating
Yorkshire.
results?
Well, they had that one where they went from 0 to 11, so there was that.
Because they never stood in it before.
That's the best, exactly.
Oh,
They
dear.
44.5% swing against them here, which is smaller than in South Yorkshire, was 47 something, 47% swing against them. The Greens have gone here from 55.5%. They've gone down by 55.5% to 4.1%. Labour up. They didn't stand here last time. They've won the seat now, 33.4%. The Conservatives down 15.8 to 24.6. The SDP, a great result for them, 23.2, and another good result for the DRF in 15.7.
DRF strong, man.
I think they could well win a list seat.
I think they're in for a list seat somewhere.
Yeah.
They are absolutely a sleeper hit in this one. They're definitely getting a seat somewhere.
If they win a list seat, they will win. They will be in London.
I would just say what we've seen so far tonight is that the fall in the Lib Dem national share has absolutely hurt them in the local seats.
Well, one thing we definitely won't want to sleep on is the result in Cornwall and Devon, which we have right now.
Your segue skills never cease to amaze me, Lee.
The Liberal Democrats have gained from the Conservatives, hidden VDV96 with 300,439 votes, Mark the Monkey 888 of the Conservative Party on 280,037 votes, with the LPUK and the People's Movement in third and fourth respectively. Again for the Liberal Democrats, Will Shakespeare.
Yes, good result. More than the 4% they needed, 7.8%, almost double what they needed actually. The percentages here, Liberal Democrats are actually down slightly on the last election to 34.3%, but the Conservatives are down further by 12.9% to 32%. And that's partially because of an increase of 4.7% for the LPUK, and also the People's Movement being a new entry here, winning 10%, almost 11% of the vote.
Although someone who's been a committed fighter for Cornwall there standing, so no doubt will be the last time we see her.
Sucking votes from the Liberal Democrats and the
I thought you had an Ofcom violation for a second.
I'd like to say hello to the over 90 people who are tuning in, 90 million people who are tuning into the results. It's great to see you all here. So that's a Liberal Democrat gain. We have another result, I believe. This one, in fact, East London was our last London seat, so the calculations have...
the list?
Yes, this will be the London list seats.
Alright.
Some STB lists.
This one's going to be very interesting for all the smaller parties out there.
Including, as Will Shakespeare said earlier, the Democratic Reformist Front.
Is this like two STB lists? Two Social Democrat lists at least, maybe?
I would expect maybe one SDP and one DRF.
I must admit, I can't actually see what the list seats are right now.
I haven't told you yet, that's why.
Yeah. I mean, the stream is way behind. It's still showing the Cornwall and Devon results.
I mean, we're dependent on Weebrew's silky voice here.
Here is the London
and
list
2
results.
seats for the Democratic Reformist Front.
Yes.
Incredible result.
That is a surprise.
Yes, DRF with 2, Lib Dems with 1, Classical Liberals with 1, the Conservatives with 1, and the SDP with 1, which doubles their seats. DRF gain 2 in London.
They win the most seats here.
Wow, I think we might have to bring the DRF round for Sunrise Plus at this rate.
I think I hear some clinking of the drinks at Conservative headquarters. Because
at the DRF headquarters, you mean? I wouldn't be clinking my glasses if I was Tory.
Well, for different reasons.
Yeah, alcohol can be used both for celebration and also commiseration.
This result for the DRF, I think, highly significant in how new parties strategize in general elections, because what this has shown is if you or your candidates in one region and really focus on getting those votes up, you're going to win at least one list seat, probably in the case of DRF 2. I think this is going to redefine how new parties fight elections and win seats going forward, and it's going to be a real model. This could be a real watershed moment in the history of minor parties in British elections.
By the way, we do have the members for that DRF list seat. Zany Draco and X4RC05 will be the members of Parliament for London.
That's a
in the
very good
Democratic
point. I
Reformist
think
Front.
we'll go over those at the end, because one of the
Yeah.
key things that these graphics are missing is independent groups who have list seats. It doesn't go to the party, it goes to the member. So we'll be able to have a look at those, I believe, later on, and
Yeah.
give you a
And
confirmation of who got what.
I think that also means the SDP have elected Real Chaw as a member of the London region.
Yes, thank you very much. If you're just joining us, it's 21 minutes past 8. This is the Sky News Guardian results for the general election 12 in the United Kingdom. I'm Weebrew. I'm joined by Will Shakespeare, our stats guy for the night. He's been giving us all
Hello,
the swings, percentages, and info. I'm also with Viljo, my other co-host this evening, who's been talking to our guests, giving us analysis and feedback. How are you both doing?
I'm very well. This is an
Viljo's-
exciting election.
Very exciting election, and the Labour have been creeping up. They're about 4 or so seats behind right now. We have another result to give you. This is Gloucestershire and Wiltshire. The required swing from Lib Dems to Conservatives of 20%. Let's give you that one right now. The Liberal Democrats have held in Gloucestershire and Wiltshire Sadie Trent 92 with 333,115 votes, United Lover 14 of the Libertarian Party on 183,769 votes, and the People's Movement on a respectable 112,000 votes in third place.
That is a good hold.
Very good hold for the Lib Dems, an adjusted swing of 31.3%, so definitely a big majority, about 150,000 votes of a majority.
Can I just make a quick correction to a statement I made before?
Go for it.
I incorrectly say that Real Chaw was elected as the SDP representative for the London region. It's actually HK Norman that you had on before. Sorry.
Fair enough, thank you very much for that. So, Liberal Democrats hold in Gloucestershire, Will Shakespeare.
Yes, Gloucestershire and Wiltshire, no great surprise. This is a safe Liberal Democrat seat. They have held it since General Election 9, all the way through, and now they've held it again. In terms of the percentages here, the Liberal Democrats actually reduced majority. They lost, or not, maybe not reduced majority, but they've lost share of the vote, down by 9%, which is a significant drop, but they still hold it easily. In the end, a 19.4% swing from the LPUK to.
So perhaps endorsements and deals with other parties has played to mitigate the fall in polling that the Liberal Democrats have had.
And they had a very strong base here to begin with as well. Let's not forget that.
That's very true.
They won, as those numbers show, they won over 60% of the vote last time. And it was a huge swing that was needed in order to take them out, especially given that the LPUK didn't stand here last time. Tories last time.
Well, the results are coming in thick and thin. We have our next result in Clydeside in Scotland. Let's give you that one right now. The Labour Party has held a strong base in Clydeside. Board Nerdy Gamer, former your seat, Will Shakespeare, is that not correct?
It is. It was my seat.
276,000.
Well, I'm very happy that we managed to keep it for you.
Thank you. I'm very happy you managed to keep it as well.
Yeah, so that's Labour holding that seat with over 276,000 votes. Tarkin 15, I believe the former Secretary of State for Scotland, in second place with 169,000 votes. And the SDP taking over the Greens in third spot with Bailey, 108,384 votes. And the Principal Speaker of the Greens, Ice Cream Sandwich 401, with 25,263 votes. A swing of about 3%.
And Board Nerdy Gamer is the press officer for the Labour Party, so
the
he gets
Libertarian
to report his own success.
Libertarians needed 6.2% swing to take this. In the end, it was a swing for Libertarians. Labour rising by 4.3%. The Libertarians dropping by 1.7%. A good result for the SDP, 8.7% of the vote. Again, some rare good news for the Green Party, who are up 4%. Because they didn't stand here at the last election.
They're up how many percent, sorry?
4.4% from 0.
Before we announce the results of the next seat, I have Zany Draco, the leader of the Democratic Reformers Front, here to talk about their success in London. How are you feeling about your success so far?
We are ecstatic. We did not expect 2 seats, but we are more than happy to get them. This is a big victory for us, and we look forward to carry it forward in Parliament.
Do the DRF have any plans to join or give confidence to supply to any coalitions forming in Parliament?
The event that we are asked by Sunrise Plus, something like that, we are very unlikely to work with the Conservatives or Libertarians, mainly because they're not friendly to our interests. If a Sunrise Plus, or other somewhat left-wing coalition were to approach us, we would be more than open to speaking on it.
Was standing in London, was focusing all your efforts.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Yeah, was running most of your candidates in London a deliberate strategy in order to maximise your list and get these 2 seats, or was it just an accident?
It was completely deliberate. We had been planning that for almost 2 months.
Well, we can give you some more results before we continue with the questioning. North Yorkshire is ready to give us their results. The Classical Liberals have gained from the Conservative Party in North Yorkshire. Nate Looney with 292,013 votes, a slim victory against James the 15th. Needed to convert my Roman numerals there. Yeah, quick Roman numerals. Okay, with 286,000. Thank you. 883 votes. So that's a swing of 8.1% towards the Clibs, but a slim majority of over 5,000 votes.
It was a very modest drop for the Tories here, 1.5%, but the reason was they increased their vote by 9%, and they required a 7.5% swing, and they were 0.6.
Well, we're going to have to jump straight into our next result in Lincolnshire. We have them coming in thick and fast again. The required swing in Lincolnshire, 6.3%. 2 government seats there, 2 government candidates there last election. Let's take a look at what happened. The LP UK have gained from their coalition partners, the Conservatives. Mr. Misty Eye has got 119,370 votes, and Unexpected Hippo in second place now with 96,184. The Labour Party in third with 84,000 votes.
I thought the Conservatives will have to eat their coalition partners. It seems like it's the other way around.
Well, I in the interview in our interview, Prime Minister asked it in my analysis whether right-wing Conservatives are being driven over to the Libertarians because they now seem like a party of government. They no longer think they have to put up with the Tories, and the Lincolnshire result is once again showing that that could well be the case, that the drop in Conservative support might be, at least in part, down to Conservatives on the right of the party feeling like the Tories are no longer the best way to implement their interests, and instead the Libertarians have proven themselves to be capable in government.
I have to say that's a possible Labour gain next election.
It certainly is. Labour in a good position there with 28.1% of the vote. The Libertarians won it with 39.8%, so it's a less than 9% majority, which we've seen seats switch tonight with much lower majorities.
I have to say, Labour in a good position overall, with the Sunrise Plus coalition looking 20 to Blur plus 23. It looks very much like that Labour can be entering number 10 if negotiations go well. And on the other end of the scale, the Green Party completely obliterated in tonight's results. I must say, we're not expecting the Greens to do very well from here.
And a reminder, in case you missed it, the Greens, South Yorkshire had a swing against 5%, and in East London, 44%. So, that's just a snapshot of the absolutely catastrophic numbers for the Green Party.
Oof. Our next result comes in Humberside, and it is a LP UK hold. In Stano of the LP UK has got 237,899 votes, and Labour in second, Know Your Place, getting 121,948 votes. That's Humberside Libertarians holding about a majority of 115,000 votes.
Humberside's an interesting seat. The Conservatives won it when they swept. The Conservatives won 40 seats in GE8, and one of them was Humberside. Labour took it in GE9, which was then taken by the Libertarians in 10, and has been held by them ever since. The results here are absolutely identical to how they were at the last election. No change at all, apart from the turnout, but the vote percentages remain the same, hence the 0% swing, which is quite remarkable that the vote percentages are exactly the same. No change.
I'd say I'm tempted to make a joke about Humberside being a humble side.
Humble swings. Very humble.
we can speak to Enstano, the LP UK candidate. How are you doing? How are you feeling about?
I believe Enstano is still trying to sort out his headset. I don't know if you want to get on that, give him a little hand there. Yeah. Are you with us, Enstano? I'll maybe need to come back to them in a moment. That was the last seat in the East Midlands, I believe, or at least Lincolnshire or Humberside was that. So they're calculating away the list seats for the East Midlands, and we can give you them now. The Labour Party has 2, and the Conservative Party has 1. A very straightforward list seat there. Labour on 2, Conservatives on 1, which now puts Labour 2 seats behind the Conservatives. Very, very impressive showing for Labour so far. I don't think Enstano is with us anymore, but yeah, that's an impressive showing.
Can I just make a correction on that? That shouldn't be a -1 for Labour. That should be a plus, and that's +1 from the Libertarians.
Gotcha. Okay, a little bit of a breather now. Got a little bit of time. How are we thinking about the results so far? LP UK on 10, so they're already like what 5 away from their joint.
They've got 14 at the moment, so they are.
So 4 away, so they're looking strong. Labour again doing good work in the first past the post. I think in previous general elections, what Labour were really good at were picking up list seats. So expect Labour to take some more seats before the night closes.
They've done really well in the constituencies as well.
Yeah, really well in the constituencies, which is again out of character as I alluded to. Our next.
Thank you very much.
Our next seat will be Lanarkshire and the Borders. The required swing there, 5.5% from Labour to the Conservative. A lovely shot there of, I believe, the Borders. It certainly wouldn't be Lanarkshire, because Lanarkshire's a... Just kidding. I believe we have a new guest, though, Viljo.
We do indeed have a new guest. I'd like to welcome the Classical Liberals' second deputy leader, Tommy Oneboys, to the studio.
Hello.
How are you
all
doing, Tommy?
I'm good. I'm good. Very good indeed.
Am I going to ask you a question? Tommy, how do you think the results are going so far?
Yeah, I think they've been pretty good so far, actually. We've picked up some gains, so areas like Central London was a good target seat for us and a good gain. So yeah, I am quietly confident so far.
I guess the big story leading into this election was the possible coalitions and the possible, in fact, the definite leak to the Guardian regarding the Sunrise Plus coalition. Now, if you were tuning into the stream earlier, you would have heard the DRF open-armed about Sunrise and possible Sunrise government. What do you respond to those comments from Zany Draco?
I say to them that the Classical Liberals are here to work with all parties to do what we think is the best, and if that means including the DRF in a coalition, I mean, I'm definitely open to that. I definitely think an agreement can be found, hopefully.
Well, I guess as Classical Liberals at one point, a few elections ago, were one of these small parties that broadcasters past were talking about. They were making moderate gains and they were kind of peaking. I believe Twisted at one point said, and this is probably non-canon, but screw it. This was a peak, last election, this was peak Clibs. It's all kind of changing. Classical Liberals are becoming a big player now in Westminster, according to the exit poll.
Well, I think that's a testament to all the hard work that the membership have put in this term. I mean, we've been consistently active in putting forward our viewpoints and being passionate about it, and that is what it has got us, and the British public are clearly realising this.
You spoke about what's best for the country and, what's best for everyone. Is considering working with the Conservative Party in some sort of other coalition something that you'd be open to looking at?
I'm not going to rule out anything. I think it's too early to say which coalition is going to have the numbers to get into power anyway. But as I said, we're open to talking to both sides, working to both sides, and seeing if an agreement can be reached.
Well, we can bring you, I believe, 2 results. Lanarkshire and the Borders is a Labour hold. Umaton, the candidate for the Labour Party, on 303,883 votes. Paul Rand, the Deputy First Minister now of Scotland, in second place with 217,845 votes. And Geordie of the LP UK, I believe, also a big figure in the Scottish Party, the leader of the Scottish Party, with 83,335.
Heavyweight seat.
Yeah,
That
big time.
is leader of the Scottish Labour Party versus the Deputy First Minister versus the Libertarian Scottish leader.
Three Scottish Party leaders.
And Wired Cookie, one of the Greens.
And the Green.
Oh, 32,751.
The Greens only down 0.1% here, so they'll be glad to hear that.
Why we talk about Greens and political heavyweights in the same sentence?
Oh, stop giving them crap. The next...
I mean, let's face
hang on,
it.
sorry,
Given their results tonight, the Greens basically are everyone's free punching bag. It does not look good at all for the Green Party, and I'm not sure that they will even gain a single seat tonight. This is an incredible result.
Surely they pick up a list. Come on, it's the Greens.
Well, who knows? Who knows? It looks like
I don't see it. I agree.
The end of the Green Party.
The
Green Party have been around in politics for years now, and it looks like this could be the end.
Just before we move on from Lanarkshire, in Westminster. Before we move on from Lanarkshire, just a note again: the trend we're seeing of margin, a fairly moderate swing to take from Labour, going the other way. So they needed a 5.5% swing here to take it, and it was a 0.9% swing away from it. So again, that trend we're seeing it again and again of them failing to get that swing in their favour and it going.
We've got a lovely shot here of, I believe, Blackpool Tower. I'd be an idiot if I got that wrong. Lancashire South.
You would, yeah.
Here is the result. Labour has gained from the Conservative Party in Lancashire South. APTH 10 on 273,274. Wow, 273,274. That's kind of cool. And the Conservative Party, Cafferby on 237,274.
Oh, that is crazy.
273, 274, and 237, 273.
Oh my god, numbers suck. And the People's Movement, DF44, who's been a veteran on British politics with a very respectable 129,466.
I am putting it down to my visit to Blackpool.
Is that what that's your spin towards your own membership? I visited.
No, that's my spin. That's my spin to myself.
Well, that's bless him. But we've got another result. Sorry, we're gonna have to jump straight to our next result.
Big swing to Labour here. The 22-point swing to take it, and they actually managed it. And that's a big obstacle to overcome, and they did it with style.
Our next result is Oxford in Berkshire. A lovely shot there of Oxford University. Yes, must be. Look at it. Look at that building. Must be.
I would think so.
The Conservatives have gained from the Green Party massively. Check My Brain 11 on 268,643 votes. Samuel J. Booker, who we had on the show earlier, the deputy leader of the SDP, with a very respectable 166,233 votes. And Mrs. Us and the Chosen. Close.
Good grief.
Close. Come on, it was close. Mrs. US and the...
Would you like me to try it for you?
Please.
It's Mr. Susan.
With 132,758. And the former holder of this seat, Contraband the MC, with 98,768. The Greens in last place, MG9500, the former First Minister of Scotland, 73,626. Well, Shakespeare, lots of swings to talk about here, probably.
Well, yeah, that's a massive swing again against the Greens. Another catastrophic result. They are down 46.7% here, down to 9.9%. The Conservatives taking this, actually quite a modest gain, 10.9%, but with the collapse of the Greens, they didn't need that much. And that's why you've got that swing. The Conservative increase may be moderate, but you've got a huge collapse of the Green vote. It splits off between the Clibs, who are a new entry here, 17.9%. The SDP getting another excellent result here, coming second at 22.5%, and the People's Movement on 13.3%. But again, we're seeing this trend. The Greens are being wiped out across the country, and they are last here from being first.
I see that Samuel J. Booker's being mic'd up again. We will go to him shortly for his reaction, but we are still behind, so let's get another result. This is in Dorset, very close. I can't remember. But it's a 7% required swing from Conservative to Labour. Let's have that result right now. The Labour Party has gained from the Conservatives. Stalin, 1953, with 103,989 votes, to put his power on 92,293. the SDP in second there, again over the Tories. Lord Tootin, 89484 for the Conservatives.
This is one of the most fascinating seats in this election. I'll tell you why. Because Labour's vote share has not changed. They got 31% this time. They got 31% last time. They won the seat because the Tories have fallen by 18.2%.
Wow!
So they got that 7% swing they needed. They got 9.1% swing in the end without actually gaining any vote share, just from staying static while the Tories fell. The LP UK also dropping here 9.3, and the SDP picking up those Tory and LP UK votes, going up by 27.5.
So if you want to win a seat,
Really
then
fascinating seat.
bore your other candidates into submission, and you will win with crazy long speeches we saw.
Such a neutral host.
Sorry, we do have Samuel J. Booker back in the studio from the last seat, which was Oxford and Berkshire. Samuel, I've respectable. Kind of the same story for the SDP. It's a respectable result for first time, but I'm sure you would have wanted to win.
Yeah, it's a bit disappointing, if I'm honest. I did think it would be a bit closer than that. I thought, especially from the people who I spoke to, I'd become a sort of a favourite for that among some predictions that I'd seen. But it is what it is. I think I will have secured a list seat, which is good enough. But yeah, I mean, Brain ran a good campaign. There was nothing wrong with the way that was run, but I do feel like the wrong decision has been made. But it is what it is, and we'll
You
move
think
on.
the electorate has made the wrong decision?
Oof, dearie me.
And not so neutral now, Tommy.
Obviously, you're going to back yourself in these situations, but they've spoken, and their word is binding. So we move forward from this.
And we do move forward to the next result in Tyne and Wear. Wow, a required swing of 0.4% from Classical Liberal to Green. So a very close seat indeed. Let's have a look at that straight away. The Classical Liberals have held in Tyne and Wear. Sigh of release from Tommy Lumboy. Joe C. Phillips, the former Health Secretary, has 301,675 votes. And Eugeon of the Green Party, 61,000. And the Devil's Number, 666. That's a big win, but a low turnout. Will Shakespeare?
Yeah, very low turnout, less than half the vote here. This used to be a Green. I put emphasis on used to be. This was a Tyne and Wear. Used to be a Green stronghold from GE8 all the way up to. The reason I'm going from GE8, by the way, is that's when the current boundaries were introduced. So they're the most comparable results. They lost it in GE10. The clubs have held it since then, and they've increased their majority here. The results this time, enough of the history. The Greens have collapsed even more so than last time. They've gone down by 32%. It's a 32.6% increase, and therefore that they only the Greens actually only needed a 0.4 swing to take it, but they've wiped out.
We have the South West England list results in. The Conservatives on 1, the Libertarians on 1, the SDPs, as Samuel correctly identified, has gained a list seat, and the People's Movement has also gained a list seat. I believe that's their first seat of the night. So yeah, big wins for the small parties.
It is. I believe you are. Yes, it is. It's the TPM's first.
Big gains for the small parties. So Samuel, there you go. SDP get a list seat.
Yes, another list seat. It's a good result. That's for Southwest, though. I'm Southeast, so we're still waiting on that one, which I expect we'll have another one there. But very good result. Very happy with that. As long as we keep picking up these list seats, we'll do all right. I think we're currently on target for the exit poll. And I think 7 seats for a new party will be absolutely astonishing. We'd be really happy with that. So things are looking good so far.
Things can only get better. Viljo, do we have a new guest in the studio?
We do indeed have a new guest. I can now welcome to the studio Jellycow99, the deputy leader and potential candidate for leader of the Liberal Democrats, and sadly not the winner of Hampshire North. Jelly, how are you feeling right now? How's Hampshire North's result hurt you?
It's not too bad. I did predict my loss prior in my little prediction sheet. And I am glad that we did gain some 80,000 votes there. So I'm currently looking at attributing my loss more to the LP UK endorsement of the Conservatives. They had 14% back in G11. And I think a lot of that has transferred over to the Conservative vote. Turnout was incredible. You know, we got 80% of the electorate in Hampshire North voting, which is amazing. I've always said in my campaigns, no matter who you vote for, get out and vote. We need a healthy democracy, and you know, turnout nationwide has been really good. But in Hampshire North especially, I'm really happy to see that we hit that 80% mark. It's really impressive, especially with only 2 candidates.
Well,
Jelly, you've run. Jelly, you've run in Hampshire North now. You've won once. You won as a Labour candidate, and that was the only time you've won. Does Hampshire North just not want the Liberal Democrats?
You know, I wouldn't say that. I think having run there 4 times, we have to remember that the current candidate there, Sis33 Error, has also run there 3 times now. I think Hampshire North is much less of a battle of parties and more of a battle of personalities. So maybe I just, you know, didn't do enough over the term. I was very impressed actually with Mr. Error's work over the term. He'd done some 4.5 times as much debating as I did in the House, even though I did a lot more of my work outside of debates and stuff like that. But regardless, I do think we're in with a fighting chance next time.
Well, we have our next result from West Yorkshire. The required swing from the LPUK to Liberal Democrats, 35.2. Let's take a look at the West Yorkshire. Of course.
Before that's announced, I'd just like to congratulate the Putis Power, the SDP's candidate elected on the list seat in South East England there.
Is that Southwest or...?
Sorry, Southwest England. Southwest.
Okay, let's give you the West Yorkshire result now. The LPUK have held in West Yorkshire shit memery on 184,136 votes. Arthur Dent 24.
And another Ofcom's
Arthur Dent 24 of the Labour Party. Vonk, did you say? Wow. 136,092 votes. Oh, that's better. Fresh 3001 of the Classical Liberals on 68,473, and My House is on Fire from the Democratic Reformist Front on 25,254. So a majority of about 48,000 votes.
I think Labour's been doing really well tonight.
Yeah.
In terms of swings.
Of course.
They're one
I'm
behind
not sure
the
how much
Tories.
of that is for the adjusted swing, but geez.
That's they needed 35% to take that there. They got 29.8%. So it's really close. In terms of the actual the vote shares and things, we're on West Yorkshire, and West Yorkshire, 32.9% for Labour. They didn't stand here. 16.5% for the Clibs. They didn't stand here last time either. 44.5% for the LPUK and 6.1% for the DRF.
Okay. We've got no time to kill. We are still going thick and fast with the results. Another bunch of list seats are in. This is the North East. Labour picking up 2 list seats and the Classical Liberals picking up 1. So it's Labour on 2 and the Classical Liberals on 1. So now, Labour, as it stands, are the largest party.
The Labour Party is the largest party.
Yeah, it probably won't last though.
The Conservative Blurple is not looking likely as the night goes on, given the gains from Sunrise parties. Classical Liberals on 10 seats, Liberal Democrats on 7, SDP on 3 seats, and Labour on 19. That's a gain on their current total. It's looking good. It's looking good for Sunrise. It's not looking so good for the Conservative Party. We're seeing that the exit polls are looking like they're coming true, and if the exit polls are correct, the Conservatives have lost 5 seats, 6 or 5. Will, can you tell me that?
I don't know how many we're on so far. What I can tell you is that that Blurp will need another 21 seats in order to get a majority.
Wow.
And I don't see that happening.
There's not many left to do that. So as
No,
the exit poll
I don't see them
predicts,
winning 21 seats in the next.
however many seats. There's not many left. There's like 10
Not
or so.
really.
I don't know.
There's 27 seats left.
Quick maths from Jellicoe. That's why we love you. Jelly, back to you then. You're running for you're running for leader, aren't you, of the Liberal
I am,
Democrats?
yeah.
Now, we spoke to the, I guess, interim leader of the Liberal Democrats. Why do you think it's time for you to become leader of the Liberal Democrats?
Well, I stood last time, as we all probably remember. And I think the policies I put forward, and I think that the people who I spoke to from the party, the vote ended up being quite close. Regardless of what the Guardian said, it was a close vote. There were only 3 people in it. And I think that proved that I was, I was a popular candidate. I was hardly, out of the winnings early. And I feel like I do have a mandate to run again, because although I didn't win the first time, though I didn't win in the most recent election, yeah, there's definitely people in the party who would like to see me leader. And I think more so, really quickly, I stood as the campaign coordinator for the Liberal Democrats this election, and I believe I campaigned more than anybody else in the party. And so far, we are looking at beating the exit poll prediction, which is really,
we will
really
see
good.
about that. We have more results to give you. This is in Cheshire.
Labour's not standing here. Just a note on the swing there. Labour's not standing here just when we know who the top 2 parties are.
Well, the top 2 parties are the Classical Liberals and Conservatives. Tommy Wumby holds Cheshire, the deputy leader, on 335,326 votes, and Chris Cross, 6U of the Conservative Party, 125,990 votes. That is Cheshire there, but we have another result in straight away. This is Hampshire South. Required swing. This is another former kind of green running seat. I believe it was Zombie Rat who ran in the last.
Former leader.
Yeah, very,
Oh,
very strong
my
candidate.
memory is just amazing. And here's the
You've
result.
got written it down somewhere.
The Conservative Party has gained from the Green Party in Hampshire South 225,028 votes for Flander Dragoon, and Reese, the new member for the Classical Liberals, Reese Dallin, 148,904, puts them in second place over the Labour candidate, Captain Ographer, nailed it, 148,748. And Soggy Cabbages, the Green candidate, all the way down in last at 28,947 votes.
Less than 200 votes between Labour and the Clibs there.
30.6% drop for the Greens. It's a swing from the Greens to the Conservatives, 20%. Needed to take it. Hampshire South, an interesting seat in terms of its history, just briefly. It was a Greens, a Conservative in 8 and 9. In general election 10, the Greens took it. Zombie Rat held it in 11, and now it's gone back to the Tories with the collapse of the Green Party. So we're seeing the Green Party's gains over the last few elections wiped out in one fell swoop. They already lost quite a few last election, but now they're just being decimated.
We are fast approaching the end, or we're getting about 5 or 6, I can't count, seats remaining, including lists, which means...
But before we get there, we have Reese Dallin in the studio.
God
with
damn
us.
it. Reese, welcome.
Reese, how are you feeling?
You know what? I worked hard for my campaign, and I'm proud of what I've done, and I've started off, and I'm going to be back next time. I'm glad to see that Joe held Tyne Weir, because of course I served as MP for there quite briefly, but I'm glad to see that we've held it, and we're doing really well this time round. Unfortunately, I didn't get the result I
wanted. Yes. That, to be fair though, as a new member, standing in a new seat for you, that's a decent campaign. 200 votes in it, but you managed to go into second place. As I was saying though, we are close towards the end. We've got about 5 or 6 seats left, including lists, which means we are close approaching the battle for Cumbria and Lancashire's North.
Any recounts to it?
By the way, I'm not sure if it's been said so far, but Highlands and Grampian has sent to recount because of how close the result was. I'm not sure the graphic for that.
We don't have no.
Highlands and Grampian was so close that it's
That's really interesting. That is.
We'll expect that result some point later tonight.
That's an SDP target seat, isn't it?
SDP, Conservative, I think are the kind of front runners the polls have.
Oh, they could be looking at a constituency there. That'd be
We will have
surprising.
to wait and see for that. Yeah, we don't have any graphics for any recounts, but if that's coming through our headphones, we will have to take it. We have, however, the final list for Yorkshire and the Humber. Here it is, the Conservatives on 2 and Labour on 1. Yorkshire and the Humber list there. Our next result will be Cumbria and Lancashire North, the battle between Dunks 11 and Infernal Plato. Historic, some may say, between the Conservatives and the Classical Liberals. It's gone one way, it's gone the other way, it's swung, it's flip-flopped. Who will be on top? We will find out in approximately... Oh, the time is now. Here's our beautiful shot of Cumbria. Or Lancashire North. I don't know. Could be one of those. Looking back, Will, you're just in time to see that...
One of the highlights of the election, this, or...
Fix your mic. That...
To take it.
Dunks 11 has gained the seat of Cumbria, or I should say regained. The Classical Liberals are back in the seat of Cumbria and Lancashire North. Dunks 11 with 237,483 votes, and Infernal Plato down to 223,734. Big win for Dunks 11.
Yep.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant.
Dunks only needed a small swing here to take this.
So it's been narrow since I want to say the 9th election.
I'll tell you exactly what's happened to this seat. It was a Clib gain in GE8. Then it was the Conservatives took it back in GE9. GE10, the Clibs took it back again. And then it was GE11, the Conservatives took it back, and now the Clibs are back in control. GE9, it was settled by
coin toss.
They got exactly the same number of votes.
Yeah, settled by
and
coin toss.
Conservatives won that. So only a very small swing needed here, and Dunks managed that. Both candidates went up because this time it was two parties standing. Last time there were three. So the Dunks went up by 8%, and Infernal Plato up by 5.7%. So the final vote shares are 51.5% for Dunks, 48.5% for Inferno.
Thank you very much.
The Guardian's cat has, I'm afraid, walked onto my desk.
Ah, bless.
It's very sweet right now.
Oh.
But not what we want in the middle of an election stream.
We have now the... Oh no, we've got some time to kill. No we don't, I can't read. We have the Northwest list. Here it is. The Northwest list, the Conservatives on 3, Labour on 1, and the People's Movement pick up their second list seat. So that puts the Conservatives on 24 seats, the Labour Party on 21, the Classical Liberals and the LPUK on 12, the Liberal Democrats on 7, the SDP on 3, the Greens on 0, and the rest on 5. That's about Plaid Cymru, the Democratic Reformist Front, and the People's Movement.
The People's Movement are on 2 seats there. Very impressive, I have to say.
Have they?
That's
DF44. The
DF44.
SDP? No, they have
The
SDP as London list.
on
Never mind.
3 seats.
The SDP has 3. The TPM has 1.
TPM has 2.
2. Sorry, that's what I meant to say.
They doubled their exit poll prediction. That's very good.
So that is the Northwest list. Our next seat will be in Northern Ireland, where the Prime Minister is looking to be re-elected. Here's a lovely shot of the rocks, the pillared rocks and steps in the Irish Sea.
Can I just say at this point, briefly, that Labour is currently at the point that the exit said they would be at, which means they now are either going to match the exit or outperform it.
Wow.
Guaranteed.
The required swing in Northern Ireland, large but possibly manageable. 11.6 from the UUP to the Alliance Party. We also have the new IPP, Irish Parliamentary Party, standing for the first time in Westminster, who picked up a seat and are now deputy executive members in Stormont. So let's see what happens there.
Currently aligned to the SDP.
Currently allied to the SDP, indeed. What are you emphasising currently for? The UUP has held Northern Ireland. WillShakespeare99 on 321,975 votes. Second place, though, the IPP, A Broken Hero,
Wow.
or it says STP here, but it is IPP, 165,329. And the former Liberal Democrat leader and now Alliance Party leader Esteban 06 with 156,912 votes there. So that's a 21.8% swing.
That's an impressive result for the IPP, coming second out of nowhere.
Yeah,
I think Labour
21.8%.
has just barely scraped that last list seat from the Conservatives, and that could prove critical in these
We will
sunrise
have to see
purple.
what happens. We will have to see. The Labour Party on 21 seats, Conservative Party on 25, and the Classical Liberals at the moment and the Libertarian Party both joint on 12 seats. The four front runners looking as we'd expect so far. The question is whether the Conservatives' gains will be offset by Labour gains, and whether the Classical Liberals or the LPUK will gain more seats. We will have to see what happens.
Yeah, that was the last Northern Ireland. Well, it's the only Northern Ireland result actually. So we will be bringing you.
I believe that means we're going to have the list.
We will. We'll have the list seats momentarily. What we'll do at the end when we get the last, I believe it will be a list result probably. Well, I assume since Highland and Grampian is going for a recount, that might be our last result. Then we'll have the Scotland list. What we'll do is we'll go through the independent list results again. You'll just have to pay attention because we've not got a graphic for it, so get over it. And that will detail who won what. But we can bring you now the Northern Ireland list. The Alliance
What don't
Party.
we have a graphic for? Sorry, what?
The independents, who won the lists and independents. But this is the Northern Ireland list. The Alliance have picked up 1, Conservatives on 1, and SDP on 1. So I assume, well, is that the SDP gaining from the Conservatives?
Oh, wow.
Oh, well, it could be anyway, couldn't it?
Well, yeah, that does. Let me tell you, the last election, the Northern Ireland list, it was 2 for the Ulster Unionist Party and 1 for Alliance. So that does appear to be. So it does appear to be as it is there, which is that the IPP here listed as the part of the SDP have picked up that list seat from the Ulster Unionists.
Yeah, so Alliance are actually on equal. I should say the Alliance are actually on equal.
That's a misprint. They have not changed.
But yeah, there you go. The IPP have picked up their first parliamentary seat. The nationalist representative community in Northern Ireland now have a seat in Westminster. Big stuff for A Broken Hero.
To separate the IPP and the SDP in results here, because we have heard rumours, as yet unsubstantiated, that there are difficulties in the relationship between the SDP and the IPP. So we will hear, hopefully, as the night progresses, how the IPP and the SDP relationship currently is going. And maybe we can get another guest from the Social Democrats in here to talk about that.
This is what happens when the 3 hosts are executives of The Guardian. It's like every leak that's ever been given is like on the tip of their tongues. So that was the Northern Ireland list
It's fairly public knowledge. It's hardly been a secret thing. It's been circling around over the last few days that that's in the works. So it's not something that's sort of exclusive to us.
Future is uncertain for the SDP.
I'm glad that we can bring in Samuel Booker. Sam, are you with us? The deputy leader of the SDP. Can we talk to you about your relationship with your IPP colleagues right now? How are the SDP and the IPP doing?
We're still together as of right now. There have been, as you've heard, some issues, but we're confident of reaching a solution that both sides agree to and both sides are happy with. And as of right now, the IPP are a part of the SDP. We're merged, and that's how it is.
Well, we can bring you the last Southeast FPTP seat, Buckinghamshire. Here it is. The LPUK have held Buckinghamshire. Seymour 1, 2, 3, 4. What's up?
No surprise there.
Yes, it's a very safe seat for the LPUK. 246,093 votes. The SDP overtaking Labour here in second place. Mikey Long. Good name, Mikey. Mikey Long on 90,091. 9091. See these numbers, man, they're weird. And Daytona Nerd, the Labour Party candidate there, in third place with 52,197. So an 156,000 vote majority for the LPUK in Buckinghamshire.
Good result for the SDP though. Despite that, swing in their favour, 17 points. Still a long way off of taking the seat. They needed 37.5%, but for a first result, that's a good showing, and it gives them something to build on there.
Definitely, and well, I presume it will secure a list seat as well, which would be good.
It's a really big list there, so it wouldn't surprise me.
The SDP actually cut the LP UK's vote share. It's down by 11.5%, and Labour's vote share is down by 11. Taken votes in almost equally. There's only 0.2% between the two parties from both the LP UK and Labour, which shows that this is a party that seems to be having appeal across the spectrum, and also is doing a good job of presenting itself as an alternative to both traditional left parties like Labour and also to the current government.
We are hearing
this constituency by the LP UK.
We are hearing from people on the ground at the Highland and Grampian count that it is very close. It is tantalisingly close. Who knows who it could go to? It is so close that we cannot tell you until we get the result, until the person stands, the counting officer stands on the podium and tells us, but we know it's close. Everyone there who's been asking the counters, the little university students and high school students have got their homework on the side. They've been told to put it away because there's a recount. It's very close. We will just building the suspense for Sanders.
There are less than 5,000 votes between the two front runners.
The candidates' hearts.
Very razor thin majority.
Razor thin.
I could not imagine what it must be like for Sanders 16 at the moment. The leader of the Social Democrats potentially winning their only first past the post seat, I believe. Yes, their only first past the post seat.
I would lean towards saying it's going to go Conservative, but anything can happen.
Anything can happen. Well, we have the final English list seat. This is the South East. Here it is. Labour on 2, Lib Dems on 1, Classical Liberals on 1. The SDP have gained another seat, and this is the one that, Samuel, you said you thought you were going to gain, which you were correct in.
This is the one we were looking for.
And the TPM, People's Movement, also gaining 1, so that puts the People's Movement on 3.
Very briefly, I'm really happy to see that. I think that Hampshire North was the only seat in which the Liberal Democrats stood. So I'm really happy to see that my campaign at least pushes into a list seat.
There's a lovely shot, I believe, of the V&A Museum in Dundee, just around the corner from the count. Who knows?
That
hear the results. We don't quite have the result yet.
You interrupted me. You interrupted
troll.
Me. We didn't have a result.
I interrupted. You're interrupting.
Don't interrupt me while I'm interrupting.
Sorry, Will. On you go.
The TPM result substantiates what I said in my Guardian analysis, that with the collapse of the Greens, the TPM are now the mainstream party of the far left, presenting an actual, reasonable, well, not reasonable to people on the right, but well thought out, intellectual approach to far left politics. And this isn't just because of their manifesto now, this is because they've actually won seats. Obviously, as I said in that piece, if they want to do better than that, then they've got to broaden their appeal. But abandon some of their more unpopular, unachievable promises, such as getting petrol cars off the road by next year.
That's a big ask.
They are now, I would say, after this election, the mainstream party of the far left.
Mainstream.
It's a party that the Greens have held since the collapse of the Radical Socialist Party, and that's now gone because the Greens have been eradicated.
Well, with these current results, Sunrise Plus has just hit 50 seats.
Wow, there you go.
There you go.
Let's see if it can gain one more. Here is the Highland and Grampian.
One more seat. Will it be one more seat?
We'll find out after the break. Here it is. The Social Democrats have gained from the Conservative Party in the Highland and Grampian election. Saunders 16, the leader of the Social Democrats, 217,757 votes against the Conservative Party candidate, It's Kitty, with 214,656 votes. Labour in third with 140,326, which gives Saunders a slim majority of 3,101.
We don't
And
care.
that means, as just pointed out by one of our guests, that Sunrise has a majority. Sunrise Plus has a
Sunrise
majority.
Plus
They can agree.
Coalition holds a majority in the House
What
of
really
Commons.
matters here is the Scotland list seats, because we obviously were hearing chatter earlier that there were difficulties between the SDP and the IPP. So this would preserve that majority should the IPP decide to go their separate ways, which we'd have to wait and see.
Any party within Sunrise gaining on the list seat could result in that firm majority for Sunrise. We will have to see what happens, because we are about to have, I believe, the results for the Scotland list. Weebrew? Is this the last result of the night? Is this the last result?
I believe it is the last result.
The Conservatives
This is
have
the
gained...
last result of the night.
Conservatives have 2 seats. Labour has 1 and the LP UK has 1, which means the final result
Sunrise has that firm majority if the SDP, they've got 52 now.
Yes, if you
51
include the IPP, yeah, that would be 52. Which, so that is that firm majority.
That's that firm majority.
Yeah, so there you go. That's the final result. I'm going to take a look now. I believe we have some graphics to show the map of...
Yeah, we can now see what the country looks like.
I'm just trying to remember what happened.
National vote share, seat totals, change from the last election, I believe.
Here is the constituency seats. So this is the map as it looks in the constituency. You see that big pocket of pink there in the densely populated... Densely? No. Of Highland and Grampian. The opposite.
Sparsely.
Sparsely, that's the one. Yeah. That's the leader's seat. We have the Liberal Democrats in Lothian and Fife there, whoop, and Clydeside and the Lanarkshire and the Border seat to Labour. Move down to the kind of north of England or the middle of Britain if you don't want to be biased. And the Classical Liberals have a foothold there in the middle of Britain. Wales has turned pretty much green, besides the mid and central seat there for, I believe it's Labour. But yeah, it's a rainbow picture overall, Will.
It is very. If I can give you can I give you the changes from the last election?
Yeah.
Percentages of vote.
This is for the constituency, yes.
Are down 0.1%. The Greens are down 4.9% from the last election. Labour are up a very good 6.2%. The Liberal Democrats are down 6.6%, which is actually a bigger drop than the Greens, but they were at a higher point to begin with, so they had further to fall, but still not a good result for them. The Classical Liberals are up 3.4%. The Conservatives are down 3.4%. The LP UK are down 1.5%. The Loyalist League are up 0.3%. Phoenix Committee 0.2%. SDP 5.6%.
Yeah, of course, because
2.4, DRF 2.1.
These are all because they're new standings.
Exactly. The ERG overall got 0.2, and there was 0.5% of the vote went to independents, which was 0.2% higher than at the last election, and most of that will have been thanks to Walker.
I believe we have a new guest.
I would just like to bring on our last guest in the formal section of the night, Saunders 16, the leader of the Social Democratic Party and the holder of Highland and Grampian with a 3,101 vote majority. Saunders, how are you doing?
Hello, thanks very much for having me, and before anything else, thank you very much to the people of Highland and Grampian for electing me. I'm very proud right now.
Well, it's been a big night for you, huh? What do you think of the results overall? Actually, whilst we do that, we'll show you the final results. This is the regionals first.
Okay. Thank you.
Here's the regional lists. This is where you guys obviously performed the strongest. An increase of 5, an increase of 5.7%. Will, you want to talk us through these stats and the regionals?
Yes. The map, just to point out, the map is coloured in the party that won the most list seats in each region, and the ones that are IP are where there was a tie. So one thing that's worth pointing out actually about the constituency numbers, just going back briefly, is that the Conservatives are no longer the biggest party in terms of constituency.
In terms of constituency, wow.
Constituencies, I believe.
And I'd just like to point out that our election website is up to date, showing the latest results Highland and Grampian. If you now go on to the election results, site, you will be able at mhoc.co.uk/public. You'll be able to see the announced results and the state of the parties there, with the Conservatives on 28 seats, Labour on 24, the Classical Liberals on 13, LP UK on 14, Liberal Democrats on 9, SDP on 5, TPM on 3,
SDP on
DRF
6.
on 2, SDP on 6. Sorry, site must be slightly out of date. And Plaid Cymru and the IPP, but no, it's because the IPP is separate. Plaid Cymru and the IPP both on one seat there. And if you go to our coalition maker, you'll be able to see the possible coalitions and the numbers that any coalition would have per party. Our constituencies will also be up to date soon enough. You'll be able to see when the results were published, and also which member of parliament will hold that seat and the result total to their runner-up. Our election results website is one of the key achievements of the Guardian's work this election, and I must say I'm very proud of our team.
Well done to Liesel and everyone else at the team. Let's go through who won the independent seats, so pay attention here. For the SDP in the West Midlands, Jack Wilfred is the seat winner for the list there. HK Norman, as we said on stream, won the London seat, and Samuel J. Brooker, the deputy leader, won the South East seat. The Putus Power won the South West seat, and of course, the only candidate in Northern Ireland for the IPP, a broken hero, takes the Northern Ireland seat. For the People's Movement in the North West, DF44 takes the list seat. Contraband the MC takes the South East seat, and Jasmine there, Colonel wins the South West seat. In the final one is the Democratic Reformist Front. In London, the 2 seats go to Zany Draco and X4RC05, as we said earlier on the stream. That is the indie list candidates who were elected. Well, that's the results. Saunders, back to you then. The SDP are on 6 seats.
I'm very happy with that. That includes IPP on 1, yes?
Yes.
So that is exactly what YouGov predicted in the exit poll. That's exactly what we were hoping for. I'm slightly disappointed about London. I think the Democratic Reformers Front ran a fantastic campaign. So full credit to them. That we could have easily got 2 there if we ran more people there. So I think there's so many positive signs for next election. We'll absolutely be looking at standing in the same areas. We've got a base now. We're almost equal to the Lib Dems. I'm incredibly positive.
Well, that is it for the results. That is your final results. We now move on to the post-show segment of this results broadcast. So you will not see any more results. Before you go, Viljo, I'd like to thank everyone for joining us. If you're leaving us for the results, we peaked at well over 90 viewers, like towards the 100 viewers, which is just incredible. Thank you again to the whole team at The Guardian, at YouGov, obviously the Quad, the Gods That Be, and everyone for their help. It was a lot of work.
From a meta perspective, I'd like to specifically thank Zygark and Chatty Show for their work on our graphics, Liesel for her work on the election site, my fellow hosts, and Twisted Nuke, who sadly couldn't be with us tonight. And
he's not dead though.
And in general,
they're not dead.
The Guardian. No, they're not dead. They're not dead. But the entire team of the Guardian for pulling this one off. I have to say, I genuinely think this is the best show we've ever done, and I feel very, very happy. I'm very, very drunk right now.
It was great to be a part of it. Not as drunk as last stream though.
If you weren't doing the, I wasn't that bad.
No, I mean us, Wagbo, Twisted, and I.
No,
I didn't get drunk, but those two were off their face for the whole stream. It was mental.
I've got to say, if you weren't doing the election drinking game, you were missing out on something.
Was it like, what were the? I don't even know the rules.
That's my fault.
What? For doing the drinking game?
Yeah.
I don't even know what the rules were. We have a statement from the Labour Party. How do I do this? Let me pull this out. And then full screen. Oh no, I can't full screen. And then do this. Nope, nailed it. There it is. Here's a statement from the Labour leader on election night. From Secretary Salami. Firstly, I'd want to thank the people of Glamorgan and Gwent for putting their trust in me. I will do my utmost to deliver on the promises I have made for the good people of Wales. As my constituents know, I love Wales and will let it show in my daily work in Parliament. I'll be travelling to Newport to meet with my campaign staff later tonight and will continue my work for constituents first thing tomorrow morning. Thank you, people of Glamorgan and Gwent, for voting Labour, and thank you to the people of Wales for voting Labour on the Welsh list. Secondly, a huge thank you to Labour candidates and Labour campaign staff, and for each and every voter who saw our plan for the country as the best. Thank you. Without you, this wouldn't simply have been possible. Labour had a great result, frankly the best record in years. From Glamorgan and Gwent to Essex and South East London, our message is resonating and it is showing. With this election, it is clearer than ever that Labour is back stronger than ever, but it's only a start. This is only part one of a long rebuild project to rebuild a bigger, better and more effective Labour. This election is not the final result of what I as leader of the executive want to achieve. This is step one. Labour is starting a long rebuild project, results of which will be seen over the next term and the term after that and going into the future. I'm more confident that negotiations will conclude in a result that benefits the party, our possible coalition partners and, first and foremost, the country. I am more confident that Labour can negotiate a centre-left government that delivers for the amazing country, keeping true to our basic values and while delivering the change that this country desperately needs. And as I've kept saying during the campaign, change is in the air. People are fed up, the government hasn't been working for them, and it is showing. What this country requires is a centre-left government, and I have no doubt in my mind Labour will be successful in delivering just that for this country and its people. There you go, strong statement from the Labour leader. Will or Viljo? Are you with us? Will is away, but yeah, strong statement from.
I'm here. I'm here.
Strong statement from Salami.
Strong statement indeed.
Thanks for that analysis.
I mean, there's not much to add beyond that. I mean, Labour has a lot of reasons to be happy. Like, you know, they are they're now the top party on the constituencies, and in terms of the number of constituencies, they've done well. They've done really well. 22% of the 22.6% vote, 21.5% constituency vote. So Labour has a lot of reasons to be happy, and Sunrise has a majority. You know, I would say that Secretary Salami is the favourite to be the next Prime Minister. So of course he's going to be jubilant about that. There's a lot of work to do over the next few days. But I'm a betting man, and I'd put my money on Secretary Salami as Prime Minister.
We have breaking news from the Irish Parliamentary Press Office. This is from the Right Honourable Trevisan, the leader of the IPP. As of 9:20 this evening, the IPP and the Social Democrat Party have formally separated. I'd like to thank SDP leadership and membership for their decency and honesty in how they have treated the IPP. I'd like to make it clear that there are no personal disputes that have led to this decision. The IPP have gone from nothing to holding an MP seat and an MLA seat in the space of 4 months. That's no mean feat, and the SDP have equally seen a historic maiden election tonight. Both are growing parties looking up. However, what has become clear in recent weeks is that our respective futures are going in two very different ways. With that in mind, it was only fair that both sides re-evaluated our position on the SDP-IPP alliance. Over the course of this re-evaluation, we've come to the realisation that the only way we can move forward as individuals was to go our separate ways. I cannot say I'm disappointed at this turn of events, but I can't say I'm not disappointed, at this turn of events, but it's not the end for the IPP. Our legislative agenda in Stormont is bold, and we'll take our pragmatic Irish nationalist stances with us into Westminster, ensuring that the best deals can be made for Northern Ireland. I believe this move is the best one in the interest of the IPP, SDP and Northern Ireland. So that is the formal to the murmurs that we heard in The Guardian that the IPP have split with the Social Democrats. Shocked! They're both absolutely shocked at this. They've not even got words. What do you make of it?
Look, it was expected, wasn't it? A betting man could have predicted this. That's the truth. But
what has led to this?
If I'm being honest, look, the Social Democratic Party are a centre-left Social Democratic Party. The Irish Parliamentary Party are a centrist Irish interest party. I think there was a lot of common ground. It was absolutely right that we worked together, but at this point, we've both got our bases in the United Kingdom and the Northern Ireland, respectively, and I think we're going to both move on to do our own things, and I very much look forward to continuing to work with them in a different capacity.
I personally would like to thank Trev for making our graphics inaccurate within about 10 minutes of them being put up.
You
So-
did say we had 6 seats anyway.
Yeah, we should have had it
it's not
IPP
too
though.
There's 5 now,
No.
but still no.
No, I'm pretty sure your graphics are wrong.
I'm sure. I'm sure the 6 includes
IPP. Yeah.
The 6 does include the IPP.
Yeah, so it's now 5, but there's
So
still
our seats
51
would
seats for
be
Sunrise.
myself. Is there a Scottish list
Let me check you.
No, I don't believe there is a Scottish list.
or not?
Let me check for you. So, no, your lists are West
Okay.
Midlands, London, South East, and South West.
So that would be Putis, HK.
Samuel and JW.
Okay.
It's a good
It's a good
result.
little team.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great team for the SDP. -1 now, obviously, since the IPP have split. But, you know, the relations seem good. Is that fair to say?
Certainly.
Okay, what was I going to do again? Swingometers. I've got one for you now. Will can have his little fetish.
Yay!
This is the national swing for the constituency between Conservatives and Labour. I'll get you the other ones in a bit, but you'll need to, you know, play for time in a little bit.
The national swing is 4.8% from the Tories to the Labour Party. So this is a two-party swing across the constituencies. The national average between those two, and it comes from, as I said earlier, the fact that the Conservatives are down 3.4% in the constituency vote, and Labour is up by 6.2%. So that's a strong 4.8% swing from the Conservatives to the Labour Party. Good night for Labour, clearly. Not so good a night for the Conservatives.
So if you're just joining us, this is the general election summer 2019 post show. I am Weebrew. I'm joined by my two co-hosts, WillShakespeare99, who just gave you the figures on the constituency swing, and Viljo, who's been helping us very, very well and updating the website, which you can still view on mhawk.co.uk/public. For anyone who's wondering, the coalition forming period is now open and will be open basically until a government has been formed. Then we'll see a Queen's Speech be drafted, whoever becomes government, and the term will begin. That's the kind of schedule we're looking at. What I'm going to do is, I think, and you know, if you don't like it, you can veto it, but I think we should play the opening one more time.
Honestly, I can't really blame you. I particular thanks to Chatty for that, because I have to say it is absolutely beautiful.
I have a question.
Play the intro as an outro at the very end.
I have a question.
Go on.
Do we have to go through the whole countdown again?
Yeah, thinking that.
No, we will skip the countdown.
Well, here's what I think we should do though. Oh, the music's playing. Oh god. Pause.
Stop the music. Stop it. I think we should play. I think we're still scheduled to go for another half an hour. I think we should play it as an outro at the very end.
Yes. Let's do that. But first,
That makes more sense.
here's a fun announcement for you. I've casted my vote as a member of Liberal Democrats for the next leader. Not telling you who I'm voted for.
Who have you voted for?
I'm not telling you, but what I will tell you is that my time with the Liberal Democrats is up. It is time for a new approach for Weebrew, and I will be joining the Monster Raving Looney Party with my co-host, Will Shakespeare.
Shocking.
I am excited at the future that this grouping has. I think there's a lot that could be learned from laughter, and I think that having a little bit of a joke now and then, even in legislation, could be a good thing, and I look forward to working with them in the future. Right, let's do this. I just got tagged as soon as I did that.
I bet you did.
So yeah, that's the results. You can view them. They'll be online in like a while. You can check them out. They're also on the website.
I think they are online.
Yeah, they're on the website especially. You can do the little interactive coalition maker. Should we do that?
A note on the coalition maker. It doesn't include the list seats.
Ah.
I think it should include the list seats now. We've been updating it to try and ensure that it is up to date. I'll give that a double check now myself.
Okay, yes, yeah, it does. It does now.
Okay, let's do the coalition make it ends for a bit of a laugh. Here it is.
So I'm gonna plug in Blurple here.
Yeah, let's do it. Conservative and Unionist Party and Libertarian Party.
And that coalition only has 42 seats, cannot form a majority government.
Yep, there you go.
For that.
What did you say? It's Tommy Longboys, the deputy leader and now MP for Cheshire. Hello, how are you doing?
Hello, I'm good. I said thank goodness for that.
So that's Blurple.
Pure Sunrise.
Pure Sunrise, which would be Labour,
the Classical Liberals, and the Liberal Democrats.
46.
So Sunrise, even though they wouldn't be a majority, could govern on their own. But if you add the Social Democrats in, a 51 seat, excluding the IPP, 51 seat majority there, it's looking very positive for the Sunrise Plus government. If we add in the Irish Parliamentary Party seat as independents, who knows if they'll be joining the coalition, or possible confidence and supply agreement will be formed, it's looking very positive for a Sunrise government. And considering the fact that a Sunrise government could negotiate a confidence supply agreement with a lot of minor left-wing parties, such as the Democratic Reformist Front, People's Movement, Plaid Cymru. I mean, if you could get all of the IPP, Plaid, DRF, and TPM on board, you'd have a 58-seat coalition. It would give them enough leeway, even if some members didn't turn out to vote, to pass most legislation. It is not looking positive for Blurple right now, I must say.
Wow. And then let's add in the SDP. Gives us 51 seats and can form a majority government. And then if we add in the possibility of... What's up? We add in...
No.
He's giggling away at the Master Money Party chat, I can tell. Let's add in...
Something. Ray sent me something that he wanted me to react.
Ah, okay.
What it was. So that was my reaction. I laughed.
Extremely professional team here over the Guardian.
Wonderful.
We've done 2 hours of professional straight-faced analysis. Let it loose for the last hour.
Yes, so if we add in the Democratic Reformist Front, which is a possibility, open, who knows what will happen, that puts them up to 53. How many did Blurple have? 51? No, it was more than that, wasn't it?
No, they had 51 at their peak, I believe.
51, so that's even more than last term's peak. Whew. Oh yeah, because they lost one because of Anom and Star, right?
The last one when Anomaly defected, yes.
Yes. Wow, that's...
To whatever party they defected to.
Classic ones.
It's one of your members.
Yeah, you should know that. Bad.
Oh, of course, yeah. I remember now.
That's
what are
go
other interesting
back
groupings?
to party headquarters.
What's another interest? What would be the far left / kind of Green Party? Oh wait, they've got 0.
Oof.
That was, I didn't mean that. That was bad.
Oof.
That was bad.
Neutral host right there.
So yeah, TPM on 3, Phoenix on 0.
That's a
Green on
government.
0. Yeah. So that basically it is just 2 blocks. It's another polarized parliament.
Well, I mean, it is not just 2 blocks. So the Classical Liberals could decide to reach out to our partners on the right if we wanted to.
Yeah, I suppose so. You could, but then that'd be crazy. Neutral host. Neutral host. Sorry, it's been a long stream.
It has been a long stream. It'll have been 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
But it's been a blast.
I'm feeling pity for Jack Wilfred, one of the social MPs, who's not even been on the stream. The only MP who's not, so I just like to bring him on. Why not?
Oh.
Thanks, JW. You're online.
Thanks, JW. Oh dearie me.
You know what? Let's see how many people I can fit in the studio. How many people?
It's already pretty cramped.
Oh no.
How many?
Can we all just start shouting and
This is
see
a
what
pretty
happens?
busy studio right now.
Oh no.
Sorry, oh, we're gonna get another fine. Oh, this is packed. No,
I
stop
can't.
it.
Someone
I,
say
I
Ofcom.
can't. I
Stop
can't
it.
even move. I can't even move.
I feel I can't breathe.
Oh,
This studio's only meant for 5, and there's 13 of us.
you could have put air conditioning in here.
Party in the
You can
stream.
put some deodorant on, Weaver.
It's just comfy.
Okay,
Oh
well,
dear.
everyone's in here
What
now.
happened? Did we just like hire the entire classical liberal voice chat group and just bring them into the studio?
No, classical
Can
I'm
I,
not sure who it
can
is,
I
but
run
there's someone
through?
sat on my lap.
Will
Hang on,
has some
sorry,
important
I
factoids.
know we're packed. I know we're a packed studio, but there's some interesting things that I've picked up from the night that I'd quite like to run through briefly.
Go for it.
First of all, the biggest increases and drops for every party are as follows. Plaid Cymru, their biggest increase was Glamorgan and Gwent, which was 4.3, and their biggest decrease was North and Central Wales, 8.8. The Greens had their biggest increase at 11.4, going from 0 to 11.4, and in East London they dropped 55.5%. Labour went up 48%, 48.7%.
Is
in
there
South
even a
Yorkshire,
Green
which was their
Party anymore? Or
biggest.
is it just the people in
They have
Scotland
no say.
crying?
Come on, be honest. Who farted?
So the Labour, their highest increase, 48.6% in South Yorkshire, and they lost 18.2% in Norfolk and Suffolk. Liberal Democrats up 20.3% in Northern Ireland, and down 23.7% in Glamorgan and Gwent. Clibs up 36.3% in Manchester North, and then conversely, down 13.5% in Manchester City and South. So it's a tale of two Manchesters there. Leicestershire was the biggest increase for the Conservative Party, up 29.1%. Cambridgeshire was 35.4%. But again, a slight asterisk there is that it was unusual last election because Tories versus an independent. Gloucestershire and Wiltshire, for the Libertarians, was their highest increase, 29.2%. And then West Yorkshire was their biggest fall by 26.7%.
Who's trying to beatbox?
The SDP, all the other parties didn't really have increases because they were. The SDP's highest result was Grampian, which they took, and their lowest was 10.3% in upper.
Wait, we've got the swingometers now. Oh, sorry, you've got some more?
We'll do
We've
this
also got an update to the coalition maker. I'm not sure what it is, but we have got an update to the coalition.
I think, if I remember correctly, the update is that it only showed list seats or something dumb like that, but we'll see. Plug the numbers back in, see how it goes.
I'd just like to remind the Social Democratic Party that they promised to pay our fines from Ofcom.
They
and
didn't
that's
promise.
currently
I
looking.
promised. That was a personal promise.
Current. Oh wow!
It better be a personal
currently
promise.
looking
Yeah.
at £25,000.
Money like that.
It's currently looking at 25,000.
I'm just
so-
confused as to why you
Yeah.
guys keep bringing me on.
Pocket change.
What's going to
We might as well
happen?
contribute to it. I'm paying.
I think you're showing the.
Swears
Look,
on me.
how about we take a page from my campaign? We all go to the pub, ask political questions, and get shit-faced.
Well, I've already done that. To be honest, I've been getting drunk throughout the stream, and I can barely walk in a straight line right now.
So that's what the smell is in here. Then it's all the alcohol, basically.
Yeah, it's that the Guardian's interns are passing me Monster Energy laced with vodka.
I have been drinking too.
Okay, let's
And
pull
some
things
whiskey
together a little
shots.
bit instead of talking how smashed we are. We talked about the national swing constituency, 4.8 from Conservative to Labour. The other swing that we want to look at, this is going to play a Windows sound. Oh, I dodged it.
I do have some more interesting factoids after that as well.
Okay, here's the national swing of the list vote, 5.4 from Conservative to Labour. So Labour gained
better
both
for Labour
in
there.
the Conservative... What? Both
The
in...
list vote was worse for the Tories than it
Yes, the vote. Yes, that's the key point. But Labour gained in both, but worse in the list than the Conservatives. We have breaking news in many fronts. Will, do you want to give your factoids whilst I get this loaded up?
Yeah, sure. So the biggest swings of the night, the top 5 biggest swings were South Yorkshire, 47.1% from Greens to Labour, huge swing. East London, 44.5% from Greens to Labour. Tyne and Wear, 32.6% from Green to. I think you're spotting a theme here. Manchester North, 31.6% Green to LP UK, and Shropshire and Staffordshire, 30.3% from New Britain to Classical Liberals, which means that of the top 5 swings, 4 of them were from the Greens to another party, which I think is very illustrative of their utter collapse tonight.
Alright.
It wasn't just moderate, it wasn't just minor, it was safe seats with good margins, but they were wiped out.
I know what we should do.
What should we do?
We should stand up and take all the chairs out.
There'll be no seats. Makes sense.
No seats.
But there are benches though, so good luck with that. We have some breaking news here coming from the Plaid Cymru press office. I'll zoom in this so that it looks a little bit more easier to read.
Hang on. Why do you have benches in your studio?
Oh, I thought we were talking about the House of Commons. If you remove all the
No.
seats, then nobody has any seats. Duh.
If you remove all the benches from the house, that's preposterous.
Ah, you monarchists. Alright, here's the statement from the...
Watch out, Zany Draco might be listening.
The resignation as leader of Plaid Cymru. Victor HR has resigned as leader of Plaid Cymru. In their speech,
Ew.
they said that this is not a speech he was hoping to do tonight, but one he knew was coming. He's been leader since the summer of 2017. He took a short break, and it was an understatement that Plaid has been a project that he took personally and invested a lot of time into. Tonight, he decided it was finally time for him to make way for a new Plaid member to prove himself to lead the party. It's not the result he was looking for, but I think it helped his decision. He before going into this election, he said that to his party colleagues, that if we did not win a second seat, he would take it as a defeat. And he holds true to that promise. He's thanking everyone for their time. He believes that the party will still go strong, blah, 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 blah. But that is Victor H. are resigning as leader of Plaid Cymru. That's not the only thing we have.
Ooh.
Let's do this. And then let's bring this. And do this. And then put it full screen. Here is, coming straight hot off the press of the Monster Raving Loony Party press office.
Oh dear Lord.
Cheese for everyone.
And here I thought we were going to achieve something good with this discussion.
Beating the Greens and gaining members, asterisks in one place only. It's so bonkers, you know it makes sense. Coming hot off. Yeah! Coming straight off the Monster Raving Loony Party press office. Reactions, anyone who's a serious politician and actually cares about this stuff?
No.
No, not really.
It's still better than the Greens.
Yes, true, but then again, I think anything I defecate into my toilet bowl is better than the Greens at this point in time.
I appreciate you using the word defecate instead of shit, so I don't have to.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
Beautiful.
Can I do some more factoids?
Yeah.
I've got quite a few of these. The Conservatives didn't have a particularly good night. And this is illustrated by how they fared in constituencies they won at the last election. So they out of the 16 seats they held going in, they experienced losses in 12 out of 16. With the biggest loss being in Cambridgeshire, again a special case, but it was a 35.4% drop. Dorset was the second, probably the first normal one. At 26.7%.
Just a slight counterpoint, because I stood in Dorset. I'm pretty sure both the Tory and Libertarian candidates were both paper candidates. I'm pretty sure I didn't see them at all in the campaign trail.
Right. Okay.
So that might explain why.
Right. And then I'm not going to go through all 12 of them.
Oh, did I just get kicked out of the studio? Oh no.
I will try and get all of this information online for anybody, for everyone to see without me reading it all out. The only four seats they held in which they made any increases were Derbyshire, Cumbria and Lancashire North.
Who's all laughing at?
Hampshire North and Leicestershire. And Labour, on the other hand, they held 9 seats going in tonight, 5 of which experienced losses and 4 of which experienced gains. But Labour's real story was in the number of gains. 6 gains, 2 losses, while the Tories had 4 gains and 9 losses.
A statement from the LPUK press office. LPUK deputy leader delivers a statement on recent results. This is Simar 1234. Firstly, I'd like to thank the people of Buckinghamshire for returning me to my seat as MP for the 4th term. It has been the honour of my life to serve you all in Parliament, and I look forward to continuing. Savio.
Sorry,
I'm doing my
silence in the studio. Silence in the studio, please.
I will make sure microphones are muted by our technicians, and if we don't have silence during their announcements.
Yeah, it has been an honour of his life serving you all in Parliament. I look forward to continuing that in the next term. Getting 64% of the vote is a clear sign that Buckinghamshire backs the LPUK objectives for the nation. Tonight's results were... Who's laughing? Tonight's results were a mixed bag for our party. We have 2 new constituency seats, but losing list seats. Overall, we have remained the 3rd largest party and held in comparison to last election. Wait, did he not lose seats?
The LPUK.
Anyway,
No, they stayed exactly the same.
did.
They held.
Oh, no.
They had 14 seats before the election.
Oh, I keep
Well,
thinking
they
they're
had 14
15.
last election.
I keep thinking
They
they're
had 14
15.
last election.
Okay.
By-elections, because we haven't taken account of that.
Ah, gotcha. Okay, wait. We have had a fantastic candidates run in this election, and they have worked very hard throughout this campaign and throughout the term to represent. They represent the future of our party, and I think that we can go on bigger and better things over this term and up until the next election. The results of this election makes the next government uncertain. Sunrise Plus appears to have a majority, however whether they can form a government is yet to be clarified. The LPUK will seek to enter negotiations with other parties that we believe share many of our values. If we cannot form a government, we will work from the opposition benches to provide a check on whatever government is elected, and to pass legislation that will help the people of the United Kingdom. The LPUK have always been consensus-driven since our formation. That's why I can't keep a straight face reading that. I'm going to be honest with you. No, the LPUK have been a consensus-driven.
Plantation needed.
God damn it. The LPUK have been consensus-driven since our formation. That is why I have stated in my address to the LPUK conference we will be holding a national policy review where we will seek consensus decisions from the party on what current policies should be changed and what new policies they believe should be adopted. Finally, I want to thank the voters of the British public. We will continue to fight for you all next term to deliver libertarian reforms to the UK. We will fight for our economically and socially libertarian vision for the UK, no matter what the results coalitions forming throw our way. So that is the deputy leader there, trying to keep things as positive as they can. I mean, they held, but it wasn't enough to maintain a blurple majority, so we will have to wait and see for who forms. Okay, let's go through the room. Odds on who they want, or who they think will be government. So let's start with Samuel at the top there. Who do you think will be the next government?
I am very hopeful of a Sunrise Plus government, and I think that's the outcome that will come of all of this.
Putis, what about you?
Sunrise Plus, and I think that's pretty much guaranteed. I don't think Bluff will get the numbers, and I don't think the Clips are too... Well, I can't speak for Tommy, but I think it's much more likely Sunrise Plus with maybe DRF or TPM involvement just to make sure it all goes... I wouldn't be happy with a TPM. I don't like them, but it would be, if they are what's necessary to get the country running again, then sure, fine, I'll put up with it.
Tommy?
I mean, obviously we're going to talk to both sides, but it's hard to get away from the fact that Sunrise Plus has a majority under the current numbers.
Who else is here with us? William, who do you think's odds-on favourite for the next government?
I think that Sunrise Plus has the best chances right now.
Viljo? Why not go to the host as well? Viljo, who do you think is going to be the next government?
Sorry, I just lost audio there for a second because our cat was again standing on the switchboard. I think Sunrise Plus. I think Sunrise Plus is certain now. There's nothing Blurple can really do. I'm not even sure that the Blurple coalition will stay together. I don't think that the Tories need the LPUK in official opposition. I think that they will take them out if they're in official opposition. It will be a conservative opposition without the LPUK, and I think it will be Sunrise Plus government potentially with coalitions. Sorry, not coalition. Confidence and supply from some minor allied parties. We will see what happens. I don't know what negotiations will bring, but I think it's a good turn for the country.
Well,
take them out. Sounds like the Tories are going to take the LPUK.
Take them out the back of the House of Commons and shoot them in the back of the head.
That's a very nice thought. Ofcom will love us for that.
Genuinely.
Threatening political violence.
I'm sure why I'm still in this studio,
I
to be honest.
don't know that the Prime Minister would be above that.
Anyway, I agree with Viljo. I think the chance of Blurple staying together actually in official opposition is low. I mean, when I interviewed the Prime Minister, a few weeks ago, he wasn't, when I asked him whether the LPUK were his preferred candidates, preferred partner in coalition, he refused to outright say that. I don't think there will be a coalition opposition. I think Conservatives, and I don't, unless the classical Liberals, unless something spectacular happens in the next few days and the classical pull out Sunrise talks, which I think is highly unlikely because of how keen leader
the Tories
Twisted
left to
Nuke is
offer.
to have it, unless they walk out and do a deal with LPUK and talk, which I think is next to impossible. That's the only way that we're going to that the country won't have a Sunrise government. So I think
Yeah.
it was certain that it will be Sunrise Plus.
It's basically it's up it's Sunrise's coalition to lose. Basically, there's nothing they can do about it.
No.
There's no banter heuristic for them to take this time.
The thing is, the Tories would have to give so much to get the Klebs on their side, and it's like it would be.
And the Libertarians would
much.
basically be completely SOL.
SOL.
I suppose just to clarify the Clash Liberal position, yes, we're in Sunrise talks, and if nothing goes wrong, we don't intend on pulling out of those talks. But it's important to remember we are going to talk to the Prime Minister and his party. He has won the most seats. That should be recognised. So yeah, we'll talk to them, and if a deal can be reached with them, it'll be up to the party membership and our MPs to decide what they think is the best way forward for the country.
All right, I'm very quickly just going to say thank you very much to the three hosts for having all of us in tonight and for putting on such a fantastic show. I know they probably can't. Well, some of them might not be listening, but thank you.
Oh, we're here. We're here.
Counters.
We're all here.
Who counted up the results today.
Oh, the counters, yes.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I am going to be off. I have to go home to the wife and the kids. Otherwise, I might get spanking tonight.
You might get that anyway.
Actually, let me rephrase.
Oh.
Let me rephrase. I'm hoping for a spanking tonight.
Is this chat canon?
Yes, this chat's canon.
I mean, it's past the watershed. We're allowed to say whatever we want.
No, it's not.
It's
Well,
9:52. We're
yes.
not past the watershed, I don't think.
Well, even if we are,
PM.
just remember that you're on national TV and the words can be held against you. Anyway,
bye-bye.
We're going to take an executive decision. I think we've covered everything that we need to cover. We've given you the results. We've given you in-depth analysis with swings, percentages, and the lot. I think it's
Rest in
time.
peace, Green Party. You will not be missed.
Time for some karaoke now.
No, it's not.
Yes,
I'm
it is.
going to take my party member
Wait,
away
bro.
from this building before she
Wait,
says
hang
something
on.
she regrets. So I shall see you all later.
Well, let me just wrap up the stream and you can leave.
Can someone kick Star out of the room?
Bye, guys.
Thank God I have the rhythm song.
Oh, you
muted. Okay, thanks everyone for joining us tonight. We will end with the outro/intro. Viljo, pay attention. This is the outro, man. Kick that ball. Where is he? There he is. Get him out of here. Let's go.
Honestly, next time there's a live Sky News coverage, I fully expect to just walk up to the Guardian building, the Guardian Sky News building, just see a big poster on the front door saying "No pooties allowed."